All right, I believe we are live. Yes, I believe we are live. Okay.
Looks like it.
Say it worked. Say it worked. All right. Welcome to a very special episode of Films and Fandoms with Kaylee. So, I am once again joined by Alex.
I love the shenanigans that are about to ensue. I can
Oh,
picture in
yes.
my head.
Yeah, because we are live. We
Yay!
are live for the first time. So, quick shout out to Paralandral for letting me use the software to do this. All right, so, in case you haven't noticed by the ticker at the bottom, doesn't it look cool? Oh, I just realized I forgot to change the date.
Oopsies.
This is why. See, we were getting all hyper while we were waiting for the timer.
And whose fault is that?
Mine, because I
Ours.
was hyper. But as you can see, we're going to be talking Leverage, Season 1, Episode 3, The Two Horse Job. So before we actually get started on this episode, I'd like to thank our parent company, NAFCO.org. I'd also like to thank West PA Systems. And there's my website if you're interested in learning more about me. So,
Yeah,
Two Horse Job.
I've actually went on to your link on your Instagram, and actually I went to your website and checked it out.
Oh crap. I promise this is not alcohol. I promise. This is not.
It's tea.
We're just both very hyper. We're both very hyper. Because so what did you like think of the stuff on there? No, serious question. What did you think of it?
I like it. It's cool.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you. And not to mention, it's my favorite color. It's purple. So on my street, it looks
purple because it was different from the other ones. It is purple.
It's so pretty.
Thank you. Okay. I'm hoping we get some joiners here. All right. So, all right, let's continue on. So, we're talking Leverage, Season 1, Episode 3, The Two Horse Job, in which we see when a Wall Street broker sets fire to a horse stable, killing all but one of the horses. It's up to the team to get the surviving horse back. Things get complicated for Eliot, as the client is the father of his ex-girlfriend.
Ex-fiance, actually, technically.
But see, I've always been confused about that because I think of it as like an ex-flame or like an ex-girlfriend.
Well,
but I also hear people say ex-fiance.
Yeah, the fact that
because I don't think they actually ever were engaged.
The fact that he gave her a promise ring says that they were going that way to be fiance.
True. Yeah, that's true because we do find out in a bit here that Eliot did give. We find out her name's Amy, and yeah, he did say he gave her a promise ring, but he wasn't engaged to her.
Yeah,
which is why I say ex-girlfriend because he wasn't actually engaged.
Yeah, but you keep telling yourself that.
All right. So, the director of this episode is Craig R. Baxley, and the writers for this episode is John Rodgers, Chris Downey, and Melissa Glenn, one half of the writer duo Glenn Reader, which, as you'll see in I forget which episode we hear the term first, but we're about to hear of a safe company, a fictional safe company called Glenn Reader, which is a reference to the writers Melissa Glenn and I think is it. I know her last name's Reader,
I can't remember her
but
first name off the top of my
I
head.
can't remember her first name. But I should
I feel so bad. I feel so bad.
I feel so.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
from,
sorry. No,
it's from like
yeah,
I think it's from like season 3 is when we see like that come up again, like mentioned.
yeah, we do hear that again.
It's a little meta
Of the Glenn
in
Reader,
like season 3.
because that's another term. Or boiling Kim is another term we'll hear. Where we'll get the names of people who work behind the scenes as names of like safes and security stuff. All right.
Okay, since we've been doing this, I had like less than 300 followers. I'm up to 330 on my Instagram.
Awesome. That's awesome. Okay,
That's crazy.
This episode aired December 16th, 2008. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That makes me feel like a baby.
Yeah, because I would have been 5 about. Yeah, I would have been 5 about to turn 6.
I was 9 years old.
Oh.
I was a baby when this came out.
So is that. All right. So let's actually get into the episode now. Because, oh boy, is there going to be some stuff we're going to be talking about. And Alex knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
All right, so we actually open, and there's actually a new, because I watched the episodes on Amazon Prime, and because the free streaming software that you used to be able to find leverage on used to be called IMDb TV. They recently had a name change and are now called Amazon Freebie, I think is the name now.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the one that I mainly use.
There's a new logo.
And then I also do it back and forth with Electric Now.
The Electric Now app, the production company for Leverage.
Yep.
So yeah, shout out to them because we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for them. So
yeah, because this
thank
is
you.
Like they're like
it's their baby.
Product. Yeah, it's their product. It's their baby. It's Dean Devlin's baby, but still, it's their product. It's their something. Yeah. There's something that they made. And yeah, I talk with my hands a lot, so
I do too, which is why this is going to be interesting. So,
yep.
So we open at Kensington Racetrack Stables in Kentucky. So we're heading a bit south this episode. And you see, which is why I got the tea. Literally.
Same here. And okay, the cool thing, can I just say that I liked that they actually, I think when I was doing research for this episode, I think Dean actually said that he was used inspiration from like 2 or 3 different things, one of which being the actual Kentucky Derby.
Mm-hmm.
When they were writing for this episode, they went and like looked at an actual horse track, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And then they were also inspired by like movies like 50 to 1, those types of like racing movies.
Which 50 to 1, coincidentally enough, also has our boy Christian Kane in it.
Yeah, and I think that's why this is one of my top 10 favorite episodes that I've watched. And not to mention just the fact that it has freaking Christian in it, and also his music.
It is. Which we'll get into that when we get to that scene because
oh boy, it gets spicy.
That's all real quick. So all right. So we open at Kensington Racetrack Stables in Kentucky. and we see who we find out to be Amy Martin, played by Jamie Ray Newman, who also was on an episode of Supernatural as the stewardess in Phantom
Phantom Traveler.
Phantom Traveler.
I knew. I recognized her face.
Yeah. She basically her character is in that show is the stewardess who survived a plane crash, and now the spirit of or the demon is about trying to kill her because
why do I know your face? I know your face from somewhere. And when you said that, it clicked literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I know. Yeah, because Supernatural, that episode would have aired in 2005. So she went from working with Jensen freaking Ackles to making out with Christian Kane. So
not a bad toss up, honestly.
Not a bad gig, if you ask me.
Yeah. What was your opinion on Amy at first? I thought she was kind of arrogant a little bit when we first met her.
Yeah, I see. I mean, I think, yeah, because right off the bat, you do get the impression that Amy is a scorned woman.
There's like a love injury there. That's what I got.
There's scorn. Yeah, there is most definitely
who hurt you? And then come to find out, we know who.
Eliot.
Freaking Oklahoma.
Yeah. And I actually do have some things about that towards when we get to the end of this. But back to the episode before we get too sidetracked. So we see Amy driving her truck up to the stable, and it's burning. And it's a lost cause. You see one horse running out, and we see Amy's dad running out. Amy gets out of the truck and runs to her dad, and making sure he's okay. And then she tries running back into the stable to get the other horses, but the dad, Willie Martin, played by David Carpenter, goes her and says like it's too late, and you can hear I'm about to get dark for a second, but you can kind of hear like the horses neighing and screaming in the background. Like if you listen carefully enough, you can hear it.
Yeah, it's like you can hear the panic.
You can.
Of them. And burning by fire, that would be the
That's
worst
horrible.
Way to go. That would be the worst way to go. No matter if it's an animal or human.
Now, I probably have a different ideology when it comes to like death, just from how I was raised. But I'd like much rather like go in my sleep when I don't feel anything.
Yeah, I would rather either go in my sleep or die in a car crash and like be impaled by something and bleed out because it'd be quick. I know that got dark really quick.
Yeah, that got dark. Okay, let's continue on before it gets too dark. And oh, Jesus! All right. So now we have the client meeting. So this time it is Nate and Eliot are meeting with Willie, and Willie tells them that 9 horses died and 1 horse survived Baltimore with some smoke in his lungs. And Willie says he's been training horses since the Civil War, and nothing like this has happened before. And the way Nate asks, like you didn't own the horses, right? And Eliot explains, like, that's not how it works. Like, the trainer, they raise them, they break them, and race them, but they don't own them. It's a rich man's game. Because, freaking CK cuts off words. Like I do sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, but yeah, that's the sad truth. The trainers in the Kentucky Derby and stuff, they raise those horses from little foals up to a full-grown horse, and they work with them. They train them. They get them used to being around people and loud noises.
See, I
They're
should
basically
add
their
this
children.
disclaimer. Yeah. I should add this. I should add this disclaimer. I know nothing about horses. So,
Neither do I.
so
But
I
I've done a little bit of research on like the Kentucky Derby and stuff like that, and like with the trainers and whatnot.
Yeah, I've seen other people because I'm in a Discord server where actually it's a Christian Kane Discord server. And it may have been talking about a certain scene that is coming up, and someone brought up how they didn't like the episode because like it wasn't accurate to like how horses actually work. Now, I'm not gonna like personally say whether like they're right or wrong because I don't know, but just take that as you will.
It's about perspective. It's about like
Yeah.
depending on who you are. Now, if that person was around horses their whole life, they kind of have a different viewpoint.
Well, I don't really know who they are, so I can't say where
I'm saying like if that person was around horses their whole life, they know what's factual and what's not. So it's like, cool, you do you, I'll do me. Leave it at that.
And by the way, if you see me looking over here, I have my monitor with my notes on it, so that's why.
And if you see me looking down, it's because I have my notes written on paper. Yeah. I'm old school.
Yeah. It was just more convenient for me to just have it here and have like just start between the two.
Yeah, and I can see on your TV screen behind you, I can see the glare from both of your computer screens, by the way.
Yes, you can. Yeah, I'm fancy. I got 2 monitors. All right. So, continuing on. So, Willie says he always dreamed of owning his own horses. So, when this Wall Street guy came to town, Alan Foss, and said he wanted to start his own horse franchise, he offered 10% ownership of the horses. So, Willie took the deal. And 6 months later, the horses aren't running to his liking. And Eliot says that Foss burned 9 horses to get his investment back. Which makes none of this, doesn't make me feel bad about anything that happens to him.
Yeah, it's like, well, you care more about money than the actual animal. That shows me where your heart is, so.
Yeah, and we see that on more than one occasion when we actually meet Foss.
Yeah. And
but
can I just say he's an icky dude? Like, with him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Negative.
I was going to get into that. Yeah, I was going to get into this when we actually see Foss for the first time. But like, I feel kind of bad for the actor that plays him.
That shows you how well the actor did.
Yeah. Here. See if I have the notes up for who he was. Hold on. Rick Hoffman. Sorry. Rick Hoffman plays Alan Foss. And he gets kind of, if you look on his IMDb profile, you can kind of see that he often gets typecasted as a white-collar douche lawyer.
Of course, the evil lawyer stick.
I mean, he looks like an evil lawyer. I'm sorry. I'm sure he's a nice dude in real life.
Now, okay, you know why I'm laughing when I said evil lawyer.
I know exactly why, because the character we get introduced to in Leverage Redemption, Harry Wilson.
Actually, no, it's the character CK played on Angel.
Oh yeah, because he played an evil lawyer too.
Yep.
Oh, that actually hurt. I haven't seen Angel, so I don't know.
You need to watch it.
I know.
It's really good.
I know. I got other crap I got to do. I haven't had time. Okay. Ah.
You know I'm
Sorry
not gonna
about
let
that.
that go.
Jeez. I know. Alright, continuing on. All right, so Willie then reveals that Foss is running around blaming him for the fire, and it's bad enough he lost the stable, but no one will ever hire him again, and he's uninsurable. So Nate offers to get Willie a nice chunk of the insurance payout, which I must say, a common theme we hear throughout Leverage is it's not about the money. Though I must admit, sometimes it kind of has to be about the money.
True.
I mean, like, yeah, it's one thing to destroy the dude. You're gonna make sure he like ruins his business forever. But
Yeah.
like you still should like get some sort of compensation for that. Like in this case, like Foss burned down the stable. Willie's not gonna be able to get the money. Like Foss doesn't, or Willie doesn't have the money to rebuild the stable. So I don't think Willie has the money to be able to rebuild the stable, because he has to rebuild the stable in order to like take care of the horse, and you kind of need money to take care of the horse.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is one instance where it is a little bit about the money, I will say.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
that's just me.
also, well, for me, I think it's a little bit of both. It's money and also reputation.
Well, money, reputation, and retribution, I think,
True.
is what it comes down to, honestly, are the three elements that they have to deal with. Because like the retribution to like the justice for the crimes, the money as like compensation, and the basically retribution and the money, and I think the security too is a lot of it. Like having that
Yeah.
security and knowing you're going to get taken care of.
Exactly.
Because,
Having that safety net of sorts.
yeah.
And you know the old saying, money and success don't define who you are, of like the
Mm-hmm.
person. It
Mm-hmm.
only it doesn't change you. It only amplifies the condition of your character. And with Mr. Foss, the little butthead, it
Mm,
amplifies his negative traits more. His greed and willingness to
yes.
do whatever it takes to make
Money
a buck.
brings out the worst in people.
It brings out whatever dominant quality you have, pretty much.
That is true. That is true. All right,
That's sad but
continuing on.
true.
Yeah, that is true. All right, continuing on. So Willie says that he doesn't want Foss's money, and Nate asks what he wants. Willie says that horses scream in a fire, and Foss has Baltimore, and he wants him back because he knows he could take care of him, and he wants that son of a bitch to never be in the horse business again. And I think he slams the table on
Yeah,
that
he does.
during that line too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think with Willie, his heart is in the right place. He
It
cares more
is.
about the animals than
Yeah,
money. Doesn't
he
matter.
wants Baltimore back.
Yeah, it's like I don't
Which
care about the monetary values of whatever. I want the one horse that survived. The one horse that I know
mhm,
that can still do good.
yeah,
Which I admire.
I do. Yeah, I do
And
too.
that shows you the content of his character
Yeah.
as a person
Hmm.
compared to Foss. Foss cares more about money than monetary,
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
monetary value than anything else.
Well, I feel like it's as we meet Foss, I got the impression it's like he cares but also doesn't care about money, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like, because he thinks his money will get him into anywhere, but he's so reckless about his money that it's like he doesn't care about it,
yeah,
if that makes sense.
it Yeah, he cares about how much money he can make, but
and how much he can spend
yeah, it's like
and how he
more than
spends it.
yeah, he doesn't care how much money that is coming in, but the outflow is what matters to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got it backwards. He got it freaking backwards.
He does.
It's crazy.
Okay. So continuing on. Then Amy walks in. And then she immediately eyes Eliot and is like, "You called him?"
The look on her face was like, the hell?
Ah, hell.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. Like, Well, it's like, "We need him." And Amy's like, "Yeah, no, we don't." And Eliot gets that, like, cocky demeanor. Like, "Forgot how much I like these Southern welcomes."
And
it's funny, as Nate perks up, like, "Oh, this is interesting. Like, I'm picking up something here."
Like, huh, what's this thing over here? Like, the hell's going on? But CK's accent came out when he said that, and I'm like, I think he did that on purpose. He did that on purpose.
Did.
That little smirk that he had.
Yeah. And Amy's like, 8 years. No phone calls, no letters. You don't earn a homecoming parade. And Elliot's then like, "How's your husband, Amy?" Amy's like, "Gone. Seems to have a weakness for women with her foot. Nah, fuck." I swear it's tea. I swear it's tea.
You sure about that? Are you sure about that?
Yes. Amy says gone seems to have a weakness for men with one foot out the door. Then she leaves, slamming the door behind her. Then Willie excuses himself and follows her out. And it's then like, "So when you said you knew the family, you meant you knew the family." Huh? Please tell me you weren't engaged to her, Eliot.
My immediate thought after he said that was like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, that is one of those no shit Sherlock moments. It's like, no. It's like, oh, I might have given her a promise ring. Apparently, why did I do that?
I don't know. That was weird. You froze for a second.
I
just broke my pen.
Hardison?
Fix the damn internet.
Hardy? Oh, I forgot. This is Hardy. Yeah, sorry.
And I've got Eliot.
Eliot.
He's a wolf.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Very fitting for Eliot Spencer.
Hardy's a hamburger.
Right. Also very fitting at the same time, which is funny.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. Oh, jeez. All right. Yeah, Nate doesn't know what a promise ring is and stops Eliot from explaining what it is. Which, this is interesting because in a later episode, the wedding job, during a scene between Eliot and Hardison asks Eliot if he's ever been married, and Eliot says no, and then Hardison's like, "Did you ever come close?" And Eliot says no. Then Hardison's like, "What was your name?" And Eliot kind of chuckles and it's like, it was a girl I grew up with, and it doesn't matter because she got married to someone else, or she married someone else.
That right there kind of sucks. But I mean,
but
Eliot
the
Baxley,
implication.
yeah, Eliot wasn't ready for that sort of commitment. I can see that.
Well, because we find out, or because I think both like Dean Devlin and John Rodgers have confirmed that the person that Eliot was talking about in that scene was Amy. Because there's also a future episode in season 3, my personal favorite episode, the studio job, when they're rehearsing a song, which Christian Kane wrote that song too, and we're about, as we'll hear, well, not here, but if you actually watch the episode, you'll hear his music in this episode too. But Eliot actually sings in the studio job, which is why it's my favorite. But also, when they're rehearsing the song,
yeah, and also for that episode, that's also one of my favorites. Because he fights freaking Bo Duke.
Bo Duke. Yep, fights Bo Duke.
I know. And also, as Christian said, Superman's freaking dad for the youngsters.
Superman, yeah.
But yeah, I know him, John Schneider as freaking Bo Duke. As Bo Duke.
Yeah.
And also,
I didn't grow up watching Dukes of Hazzard, but like that's where like I still know who Bo Duke is, kind of.
Yeah, and like the reruns for me is how I got to know of the Dukes of Hazzard, which is awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, in the studio job episode when they're rehearsing the song, Kaylin asks Eliot if he's ever been in love, and Eliot he says he was once. And Kaylin asks how did it end? And Eliot explains that he had made her a promise he couldn't keep, and that he'd always be there for her. Kaylin's like, well, what's wrong with that? And Eliot says that he made the same promise to the United States government, and he discovered he can't make that promise to more than one person. Which, as we see, or as we're kind of about to figure out here, through some interactions between Amy and Eliot, is kind of why they are part of the reason why they broke up.
I want to know like what was her reaction when he told her that he signed up to go into the military. I want to know what her reaction was. Because it was around that
interesting to think about. That is interesting to think about. It was also interesting because they say, or we see in season 5 episode, the low price job, that Eliot, or when Eliot's going back to his childhood home, it's in Oklahoma City, but this is in Kentucky. So I'm wondering if like if Oklahoma is where like Eliot grew up, and like because we do find out that Eliot was kind of a military brat, as they're often called.
Yeah, maybe.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he spent time in Kentucky.
Yeah, like maybe his dad or something, or like a family member was stationed there at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably how he got to know Amy.
Yeah.
And that's just my theory. But we never truly find that out.
We never.
Kind of disappointing.
In Redemption Season 2, in Leverage Redemption Season 2, I really want to have Eliot's dad on. Like have an episode dealing with Eliot's dad, or like Eliot's Eliot's family,
his father.
Yeah,
I want to know who the J person is that he was texting.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know if that was supposed to be in reference to like the stone triplet headcanon. I don't know. Have you heard of that? The stone triplet headcanon? Where it's basically Jake Stone, Christian Kane's character in The Librarians, Eliot, and Alex Walker
Oh yeah, I remember. I
Or
read a
triplets.
story that it was like they were triplets separated at birth, and they find out who they actually are, and they meet up in freaking Portland of all places.
Portland.
At the brew pub.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Eliot's like, what the hell? He's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a fix somewhere on AO3.
Oh. There's one on AO3 and also on Wattpad. And I've read both. It's hysterical.
Yeah. All right. Continuing on. I just saw that.
What?
You're on Twitter. You're on Twitter. I just got the notification. Okay. So Nate continuing on. So Nate says that there's no way they're going to do this if he has to worry about Eliot being stupid because he's too involved. Because he's too involved. I was like, no, I'm not involved. Like, I want to help Willie. You heard the guy's story. Scout's honor. And he does like this salute with his left hand, which Nate says
like,
is wrong. It's supposed to be that. Yeah, this is my left. This is my right.
It's supposed to be your right. Yeah, it's your right
camera.
hand. Yep.
Eliot just rolls his eyes and walks away. And spoiler alert, he's still involved.
Yep.
So then we get to the briefing where Hardison introduces our bad guy, Alan Foss, who's a hedge fund manager for Smith & Market in New York. And he made $40 million in the last 2 years. And he picked up some pretty high-cost, high-profile hobbies. And you get Eliot in the wire room glasses, which I know you like.
Again, the second time. For the second time, he's wearing wire room glasses.
Yeah, which, come to think of it, there's not a lot of characters on TV who wears glasses. If you think about it.
Yeah. Which is hilarious.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun that, like, the suave, masculine hitter cowboy is the one that has the stupid thin wire rim glasses that probably aren't corrected to his prescription.
Or what if they're like,
you think that boy goes to an eye doctor?
That'd be funny.
Well,
but
that might be prescription because Christian wears glasses.
Yeah. When he has to be on the computer, he has to wear glasses like mine.
Oh yeah, mine too. And
it's funny.
I got horses on mine.
It's adorable.
I just missed that. I just noticed that. All right, so Foss. All right, continuing on. So Hardison continues saying Foss started with high stakes poker and now owning racehorses. Parker then raises her hand and says she thinks she has a fever, asking to be excused from this one. Sophie does the total mom move and it's like, let me feel your head. And it's like, she stop.
Parker physically moves away.
What's going on? What's going on here? And then Parker, she kind of like spaces out, and it's like, I once saw a horse kill a clown.
Like straight face.
And then we see a flashback of a young Parker 20 years prior in Camden, Illinois, and a horse beating up a clown. She's also holding the hand of a little boy who I think is her brother, who we will find out in the future job later has died. So I'm thinking that's my theory on like who the little boy is it's her brother who died.
Or it could have been like a foster sibling.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we never know. We never really find out.
We don't know.
But yeah, that's my theory. It's probably a foster sibling.
Probably a foster sibling. So Parker snaps out of it, saying she really doesn't like horses. Hardison then like waves his hand in front of Nate's, like front of Nate, like we continue, and Nate's like, moving on. Doing that motion.
It took a minute for him to like kind of snap out of it. He's just like, huh, what?
Yeah, moving on.
And I thought, like, you okay, Nathan? You okay, bud? You need a cup of coffee or something? What's up?
Oh, jeez. Okay. Hardison continued on. So Hardison continues saying that 6 months ago, Foss poured a pile of cash into buying all of the horses from Lily's stable, and after the fire, and Elliot's like, the massacre.
Like,
so it's like, ooh,
almost.
you are a bit hot on this one.
Yeah, it's like, he was like, the massacre, and he just like said it so calmly, and I'm like,
yeah, he's
okay,
pissed.
I'm scared. Like, I'm scared.
And Hardison starts getting upset. It's like, okay, yes. Do y'all want to take over the briefings? Like, I go to a lot of trouble making these to make them interesting. I got something for the visual learners, the auditory learners, and you just interruption. As Parker interrupts, saying that IYS holds the insurance policy on Foss's horses.
And I didn't notice this when I first watched that little bit. There's a subtle change in Nate's eyes when IYS is mentioned.
Oh, of course there would be.
There's like a little switch that gets turned on. He's like, oh, I'm pissed. You can see it in his eyes. And I'm like, ugh, damn it. I got mad when she mentioned that. That vile company.
Yeah, freaking IYS. But can we just get a round of applause for Hardison, though, for all the work he does that he never gets credit on? He's serious. No one ever thanks Hardison for his work.
That poor boy. I feel bad for him.
Yeah. We love you, Hardison.
Our favorite geek.
Yes. Lead you the geek, baby. We're supposed to finish your quote.
I can't because I'm laughing so hard. We were on the world.
Yeah,
it's true because we do.
We do run the world. That's like that Beyonce song. Girls run the world. Girls run this world.
Awkward segue.
Okay. Continuing on. So, after the mention of IYS, Sophie asks if it's going to be a problem. Nate says it won't, and if he could find a way to stick it to his old bosses, even better.
Quit messing with the
Sorry! I wanted to do that.
Woman, behave yourself.
Sorry. Don't Eliot-ize me live. You did that to me earlier today. You're not doing it again.
Too late.
Damn it. All right, continuing on. I did warn this is going to be chaotic, y'all. Right. Hardison then shows pictures of Hardison says their mission is to take Foss's last surviving horse, Baltimore, and deliver it to Billy. Hardison then shows pictures of Baltimore on the screen. And yes, 3 wins, 2 places, and is insured for $200,000. With Hardison then concludes the brief and it's like, all right, now how do we get the damn horse?
The fact, okay, can I just mention that the cool thing is about the fact that horse has 3 wins, so that's coming in first place and 2 places. That's actually pretty awesome, and that's actually unheard of for a horse. And it's win, place, and show. Place is second place, so you come runner up basically.
I was wondering what that meant. I didn't know if it was like top 3. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then when you show, you come in third place basically.
Yeah. Okay.
It's third and fourth place actually combined. Because I've watched the Derby before. It's actually pretty cool.
I haven't.
And there was one that I watched. The horse was Mind That Bird. He came in second.
Nice.
By like this much, he would have won.
Oh.
Close. So close, like a tip of the nose, and he almost won.
All right, continuing on. Nate asks what they know about Foss's schedule, and Harrison says that according to his online calendar, he's had a big race at Kensington Racetrack this weekend. Nathan turns to Sophie and is like, Miss Devereaux. Sophie does kind of like one of these numbers. And it's like, how is your Southern Belle? And they have small smiles on their faces. Which to me, that's just foreplay for them. I mean, let's be honest.
I know, it's like... Okay, when you said foreplay, I was like, they're probably into something that's inappropriate. But they were legit flirting right then and there, I swear.
That was totally flirting.
No, it's like, Nathan, how dare you? Stop it!
Nathan, this is the workplace.
It's like, I can't take y'all anywhere.
Mm.
That's probably what Christian was thinking. He's like, I can't take y'all anywhere. Ugh, you never behave.
Yeah, poor boy. So he has to deal with not only like the act flirting between like Nate and Sophie, but Hardison and Parker at some points.
True, and he's like stuck in the middle between the duos.
He's stuck in the middle.
Poor baby. But he's our different kind of knight after all.
Now I listened to that song before this. Don't you do that to me.
Too late. Already did.
All right, continuing on so we can get through this. We then head to the racetrack where a race is happening. And Sophie's in the turf club saying hi to everyone. She has like a Southern Belle accent on. Like, hi, how you doing? Good to see you again. Sorry, that was really bad.
It was actually like really impressive, to be honest with you. I mean, coming from freaking Gina herself, like
who's not Southern, she's a Kiwi, or she's Kiwi.
Yeah, it's like I'm impressed. I'm American and I'm impressed.
No, the funny thing about the whole accents thing, I was watching it was last night, I was watching Almost Paradise. It's episode 6, Rise of the Kalange, I think is what it's called, the name of the episode. But Christian does a really bad British accent.
I know. But here's the thing. Here's a little tidbit on that.
Of his freaking Southern drawl.
I know. CK was like, how can I butcher this as much as possible? It's like, I know. And so he went with it. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do a really good British accent. So I'm going to, he's like, I'm going to half-ass
And then
it.
the Spanish accent in episode 3 of Almost Paradise.
Yeah, it's like,
refills soup for the soul.
Wrong with you? I'm like, boy, get your ass over here so I can smack you.
Because he could hear his drawl come out.
You have to admit, it was kind of sexy.
Okay. Woman.
I know you.
You know I have a thing for accents. Stop.
Hey, so do I. And, oh my gosh, you're blushing.
Shush.
You're blushing.
Shush.
Freaking piece of hair. Jeez.
Then Sophie's saying hi to everyone at the turf club, and Parker's on wallet duty, wearing like a polka dotted dress. And Sophie's in this like very pink, loud outfit with like the big, with the derbies, they got the big hats.
The big old white rimmed hat with flowers on it.
Yeah.
It's like... But, I mean, that's the perfect place for a grifter to fit in. because you
Yeah.
can be as outlandish and
Well, I think for
wild with your outfit
Sophie,
as you can,
for Sophie, it
and
was the
not draw
Derby.
attention.
And also in the last episode when she went to Congress, when she came back and was like, villains, con men, wolves in sheep's clothing. I felt right at home. Oh, and also
Funny.
when she was in a tent full of drunk millionaires, dizzy from lack of oxygen. So then we go to a separate room where Nate's putting like a button cam on his shirt, on the shirt button, and he's in all black, like black jeans, black button up, black fedora. And Eliot
He can rock
has,
the fedora like
I
nobody's
must
business.
admit, as much as I'm probably going to bitch about Nate and his damn hats at some point throughout the series, he does do a hat pretty good.
Yeah, and there was like with Timothy Hutton and his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Him in the fedora reminded me of his dad.
Yeah, 10 little grifters job in season 4. We get like with the hat. Fedora. Yeah.
Yes, officially, which is awesome.
Yeah. All right, continuing on. So Eliot has like 5 cards all fanned out, and Hardison's in the next room over on his laptop, and you can see that on the laptop screen. So like if my hand here is the laptop screen, on the screen is the 5 cards, but like what they are. And Hardison tells Nate that he's got trip 3s. Eliot flips the cards over and confirms that he does indeed have trip 3s. But then like the camera pans up and he does like one of these like one-sided shitty smirks.
Yeah, the little half smirk, which is hilarious. And then when they're playing poker, he does one of these and leans forward and has his hand on his mouth, which I thought was adorable.
Yeah. Right. So the version of poker that they're about to play, because they actually know a little bit about this, they're playing 5-card draw, which you get handed 5 cards and you have to essentially make the best hand out of those 5 cards.
Yep. And
now I personally used to play Texas Hold'em poker, which is different in that you get to.
Yeah, it's a lot harder, but for me, I've played 5-card draw just by itself. It's fun, and we made it like my brother and I made it into poker by betting with candy. And I beat him 3 freaking
I played
times.
for bragging rights and a trophy.
I won 3 times.
I have a photo somewhere. Nah, I'm not going to look for it. But I do have a photo somewhere of having a trophy that we'd win. Or basically, it's this thing where, like, if you won, you got the trophy for a week until the next week, and it was, like, just whoever won.
Yeah, and then there's another version of poker that they play in Redemption in one of my favorite episodes, Rolling on the River Job, that one, where they're at the table.
Blackjack?
It's blackjack, but it's based off of 21. Basically, blackjack is based off of the game 21.
Oh, yeah.
It's a betting version of that game.
I should remember. Because there was just because it was a casino on a riverboat.
Yeah, and my brother and I played 5-card draw, and we've also played 21. And every time I know my brother's tell, I can see it in his eyes, the little twitch that he does. But when I was watching CK and the guys play, his tell is to look away. Like he briefly looks away if he has a good hand. And he did that 3 times. 3 times he did that.
I must say, it would be fun to play poker with Christian Kane and Aldis Hodge. Or like just anybody really from the Leverage cast.
That would be it'd be hysterical.
I would love to play poker with them because you say your thing first, then I'll continue with that.
Like my dream thing is to play like a card game with Dean Devlin, Fred Corey.
Okay. I was just making sure he wasn't on here.
And Aldis, and also maybe Beth. Bethy, of course.
Beth would be fun.
And it'd be like 21, but instead of playing for
see, I have to be old enough to drink because I'm not old enough to drink.
Yeah. Okay, so it's gonna be like we're old enough to drink and everything like that. We're playing with them. I had this dream.
This would be if I was old enough. I'm not.
Yeah.
But if I was,
let's say like you're 22 years old or whatever, and we're playing this game.
21. Yeah.
And whoever loses one round of like whoever we're playing 21, and it was literally I lost freaking Christian. I had to take 2 shots of Jack straight. So what did I do? He poured them in front of me, and he slid them to me, and I'm like, one after the other, straight face, no reaction, and I'm like, was that iced tea or was that actual Jack? And he's like, it was Jack, sweetheart, and I'm like, oh hell, that was nothing. And Aldis is bent over laughing at me because I'm straight. And Beth is just staring at me like, the fuck? And you're just bent over like you're dying. Your head's on the table and you're laughing so hard like you're doing right now. But you're like face down laughing, and I'm like, that was nothing. Can we continue the game? And I wink at Christian, and he just like leans back like, damn. He's like impressed with me. And then we just go on playing the card game.
You got away with 30 with fucking Oklahoma.
I know. But yeah, like I said, it got crazy really, really quick.
Oh my god.
In a good way.
See, it's a little funny because when I used to play Texas Hold'em poker, I got the nickname Poker Face because I'd be smiling all the time, and my strategy was I just call.
That's the best thing.
Nobody could read me, and I played with someone who went to like Vegas. Okay, and I beat him because he would try to bluff, and I'd catch his bluff because he was a fucking idiot. But I'd catch his bluff and just call. Never raised. I just would call. So nobody knew what I would have. And he would have like a 30 or whatever, and I'd have a freaking flush in my hand.
Yeah, it's basically about reading the eyes. That's where the tell can come in. But with Christian,
one time, me and my brother caught him trying to set the deck.
Yeah, it's like, but with Christian, when I was watching them as they were playing poker, I couldn't figure out if he was telling the truth or not. Watching them play,
but of course he couldn't. He freaking acts, and he played a con artist on multiple occasions.
And then it panned Tim, and I see Tim. What does he do when he it's like a crap hand? He leaned forward and went like this and tilted the cards down. He leaned forward just slightly and tilted his head down. So I'm like, he's got a crap hand. And I was right.
Yeah, it is.
That was his tell. He like leaned down, which is hilarious.
Yeah. All right, so continuing on. We go back to the club. It's fine. It's fine.
It happens.
We go back to the club, and Sophie approaches Foss, as I said earlier, is played by Brett Kaufman, who has a habit of being typecasted as the douchey bad guy, usually a white collar lawyer, who is yelling at a bartender. I'm assuming it's a bartender, anyways, because they're at a bar, and he's yelling at him, saying, "You got for getting his drink on," saying, if you wanted ice, he'd ask for it, is to try again." This is another PSA: be nice to your service people. Okay, that includes servers, your hosts, your bartenders, and drive-through, like someone who gives you your food at the drive-through, and your
Or
cashiers,
or
and your bag
even just
people.
like the people. Like I worked at Brown's briefly for like 3 weeks.
Mhm.
And I got crap from people in the lobby speaking down to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had
Oh,
like three
I
people.
got some stories.
Yeah, I had like 3 people like actually come up to me, actually treat me with respect, and they were like, "Excuse me, miss, I got
Mm-hmm.
a ma'am from a 12-year-old boy." I'm like, dude.
It's always the ma'am. Well, the ma'am, I don't really care. I don't really care about that. It's just we have a regular at the restaurant I work at, and he always calls me ma'am because I usually am the one who ends up cashing him out when he's done. And he always says "thank you, ma'am" when I give him his change back. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I had
And
I've
they
gotten
were
a sweetheart. I have gotten a sweetie, and I've gotten honey.
ugh, honey makes me
Which I mean,
physically want to throw up.
yeah.
But there's this one
Yeah.
time I was stocking the condiment bar in the lobby, and this
Mm-hmm.
elderly lady spilled her soda all over the table and all over the floor. And she went and tapped me on the shoulder. I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And it came out naturally. And I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, where in the hell did that come from? Literally, I said, "Yes, ma'am." And it came out automatically. And she kind of looked surprised. And I'm like, I just had a big smile on my face. And she's like, "I spilled my soda over here." I'm like, I feel so bad to ask you of this of you. I'm like, "It's no problem. I got it. It's part of my job. It's no big deal. I got it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's
Yeah.
fine. Accidents happen. At
Actually,
least it didn't
yeah.
get all over you." And she's like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah. Actually, this happened earlier this week. I had two people in one day comment on my height.
Really?
Yeah. Which normally that would have bothered me. I mean, I'm obviously short. I'm freaking 4'6", and I've always been short all my life. So, but it never used to bother me until now, because I think they associated like me being short with me being young, which is kind of
Yeah,
gross,
I've actually gotten
I
mistaken
guess.
for I've got mistaken for a freaking 12-year-old, and I'm like, I am fucking 23 years old.
Yeah, you're
It's
like I'm
like
19.
it's like I am an adult legally. I've been an adult legally for quite some time now.
I know.
But yeah, you're just a
No,
baby adult.
I'm a baby adult. Yeah. Oh, and I was also told to smile by
Like
an old
I'll
white dude,
smile when it's like I will smile when
and
I
I
want
didn't.
to. It's like I will
But
smile
it
when I
was
damn well want to. It's my
like,
body. I
yeah.
can do whatever I
Please
want.
don't do that. Yeah, please don't do that to your service people. Okay.
Or touch them when they don't want to be touched. I
Yeah.
had the old man put his hand on my shoulder, and I visibly flinched.
Yeah.
And I pulled my hand back. I wanted to punch him, and he
Yeah.
pulled his hand back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have grabbed it
Like
and
even if it's like innocent, like on the back, like physical touch kind of does make me a bit uncomfortable if I don't like agree to it.
yeah, it's
Like
like
if
if
I
I
don't know you, don't freaking touch me. Like if I trust you and like you know me long enough, or I trust
yeah,
you enough,
I'm the I'm
yes,
the
like
same way.
with my consent, you could like give me a hug or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Or
like,
in my case, like tap me on the shoulder and stuff. That's fine, but if you go in for the hug or something like that, I want to make sure that, like, A,
Yeah.
we have some sort of connection, B, you're a family friend, or C, you're a family member.
Yeah.
Or you're
So
my significant other.
mm, yeah. Yeah. Just be nice to service people.
Yeah. Boundaries are a good thing. Is
Yeah.
all I'm going to say.
Yes. All right. Sorry, that was a bit of work venting. Carry on.
Also,
Okay.
a little bit of rambling from both of us.
Yeah, a little
This
rambling.
isn't unlike our normal lives. We literally rant back and forth,
We do.
don't we?
Yeah, you should.
And it's hilarious.
If y'all saw our Insta chats,
You would be like, what in the hell is wrong with these two girls?
yes, because
Am I wrong? No.
because one of the first things you messaged me this morning was woman, all caps. Because I sent her a screenshot of Dean Devlin liking a tweet that I did about tonight or about now. So,
yep, and I was not expecting you to do that, and it broke me.
I did the same thing yesterday because you were supposed to do the stream yesterday, but it just didn't work out. So I tweeted it yesterday, and D. Devlin also liked it. And then I got a notification. I knew as soon as I did that, I knew that was the first thing you were going to text me was, woman, why did you do that?
Nope.
All right, continuing on before we get even more sidetracked. So, Sophie orders a bourbon straight, and Foss is impressed, saying he likes when a woman knows how to order a drink. Sophie introduces herself as Catherine Bell Lovery, but you can call her Kitty.
This is the second time that she's used the first name as for like Catherine, which is weird for her aliases. So I was like, why wouldn't people catch on that? That's a little weird.
Wait, what was the other time? What was the other time she used
Catherine Clive?
Oh yeah, Catherine Clive. Yes, I forgot about that one. How did I forget about that one? I forgot about Catherine Clive.
Oh. And yes, I am laying down now because my back hurts.
It's fine. That's fine. I don't care. All right. Foss introduces himself and says she could call him whatever she wants, and they're both kind of flirty.
Yeah.
And are laughing. Yeah. Foss asks if she's here for business or pleasure. Sophie says a little bit of both and reveals that she's a bloodstock agent and asks Foss if he's in the market for a horse. Foss sorts of leans into Sophie's ear and it's like, you got anything fast?
The double entendre of that.
Double, definitely innuendos here. So it's like I don't deal with sprinters. No. I like mine to finish the mile. As Parker, she grabs his wallet, and then
that was funny. She lifted off of him without him even feeling it at all. But if I tried that, they would feel it. They would feel me reach in and grab it. And I mean, considering who trained Parker to be Parker,
Paula Robbins. Paula Robbins. Yeah. Or he taught the whole cast.
Yeah, that was impressive. But he mainly taught Parker to be Parker.
He did, yeah.
He taught our Bethy to be a pickpocket, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Subtly, which is awesome. Yeah. And also kind of scary at the same time.
It is, because he said Beth could do it professionally.
And
she's that good.
Yeah, that's actually kind of surprising, the fact that a professional thief, the gentleman thief, said that Beth could be a thief if she wanted to. It's she learned it really quickly. And I'm not surprised at all.
Mm-hmm. But she also grabs this like chip. Sophie kind of like grabs this chip thing, and as Parker grabs the wallet, and she takes a bite. I guess it would be sensually.
Kind of borderline, but she's like trying to keep his attention, I think is what that was about. Because
basically,
like
she's trying to keep his eyes on her.
yeah, what I saw when I watched that episode again, I didn't catch it the first time, but his eyes track her hand.
Yeah,
that's creepy.
mm-hmm.
I never noticed that until now.
It's like in the last episode, the homecoming job, when Sophie says, like, when she tells Parker that when men are telling the truth, they aren't looking at her eyes, and a man only lies when he's
looking.
A man
at
only
a woman's
looks her in the eyes when he's making the effort to lie to her. As I'm pretty sure Eliot's looking at her boobs. And then he just looks at her like, well, like, can't argue with that. Like,
yeah, it's like, I actually saw, who was it that Eliot was lying to? I can't remember who, but it was one of the girls. He looked down, but not like to the chest, but like to her shoulders, and was looking down.
Was it Amy?
Yeah, but he looked down and not directly at her. He looked down just a little bit, like
I didn't catch that.
To her mouth. It was weird. It was very subtle, but it was for a split second, and then he looked up at her again.
I was probably distracted by what else went on in that scene.
Honestly, me too.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Eventually.
All right. Yes. Foss kind of gets flustered, then goes all business. Is like, I'm sorry, I don't recognize your last name. What owners have you worked with? Sophie tells him she brokered the deal for the last 2 Derby winners, which is good for business, but she's a bit shy on publicity. And fun fact, the last Kentucky Derby was May 7th. So, yeah.
and I actually watched a little bit of that when it was live. It was actually really kind of fun.
Not. I know people who went to the Kentucky Derby, but I didn't go myself. Parker then takes out his credit card out of the wallet and swipe. She has like a credit card reader strapped to her thigh. And apparently those exist. And you could probably buy them in like a spy shop or something like that. And then she swipes it, and Hardison pulls up his info and says he's got a $50,000 limit. Parker then pulls out a paper and says he bet on Kentucky Thunder, and Parker puts the wallet back as Sophie tells Foss that Kentucky Derby was her sale, or that Kentucky Thunder was one of her sales, and is walking along arm in arm. Then Foss opens the doors to the stands for her, and Foss says he's heard he's a great horse, and he has a couple thousand in spare change on him.
Spare change. A couple
Sophie
thousand.
says that's
gotta be not
spare change. I don't. That's like all I have in my freaking bank account.
True. I have. Yeah, that's all I have in my. I have like $4,000 in my savings account. Like just about, maybe a little bit more.
Like, that is not spare change.
To a rich.
That's rent.
Yeah, it's like to a rich jerk face like you, yeah, that's spare change. But to us common folk, that ain't spare change.
That's rent.
Yeah.
I've always made the joke that I want to be rich and famous so I can give servers $100 cash tips. Because that's something I want to do. And yes, I finished my tea, so I'm drinking water.
Gotta stay hydrated, huh?
Yes, especially coming up.
Oh my gosh, I'm blushing already. Oh
Ha!
my goodness.
All right, so the race starts, and Sophie and Foss make it to their seats, and Foss offers to buy her a drink. Sophie respectfully declines, saying she has to run, or she's like, I'm afraid on this occasion I have to run. I host a monthly poker game. She hosts a monthly poker game at the track for higher end clients, and Foss says he wants in on the game. Sophie and Foss take a seat at a table, and Nate repeats that he has a $50,000 limit. Sophie tells Foss it's high stakes and it's $50,000 to buy in, and Foss says he wants in.
That's a lot of money, 50 grand.
It is.
For a freaking poker
It is. It is. But that goes into the whole high stakes that Foss
part of it.
likes.
Yeah. And I think it's like the thrill for him, basically.
The thrill for him, yeah.
The willingness to take that risk. Whereas someone like, let's say, Eliot would bet probably like $25 or like $5 for a poker game.
Yeah, depending on, or if like just him himself, probably, yeah. I'm gonna say if he was
Depending
playing
on who
like,
you are.
Yeah, if he was playing like some rancher, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But if he played someone with the money, then maybe he would do that, because that's
bet like $100 maybe.
Maybe, I don't know, which is more than I'd ever bet, because I like my money in my account where I know it'll be there.
True. But even that's not a guarantee.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that whole thing comes from just how money like was in my life. Like because like my mom worked 2 and 3 jobs all my life in order to like make sure we had stuff and all that. So
yeah, that's understandable.
I've always like grew with the whole like you earn what like you keep what you earn, and like you never know when you'll need it. So like don't waste it.
Only spend what you need to for like bills and whatnot, or like gas money or whatever.
Yeah.
And then keep the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But for others, it's not really a factor, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of true for about this episode, because for Foz, money isn't a factor. It doesn't really matter to him.
Yeah. And he's also very impulsive.
Yeah.
With his money, as we see here. He literally like
willingly gives it up.
He willingly gives up $50,000 to buy into this poker game he knows nothing about.
Just for the hell of it.
Yeah, for the hell of it. Well, probably to impress hot woman.
True.
But point still stands.
Yeah, and to prove that he's got some substance to himself and he's not all talk, there's action behind what he's saying.
Yeah.
And that
right there, I don't think there is.
Yeah, that's just primal guy energy, period.
It's testosterone.
True. Yeah. I mean, you don't see women going around getting in bar fights for no freaking reason. That's for sure.
And that is actually very true. Because I ain't never heard of 2 women fighting that didn't have some ulterior motive behind it.
Now, if they were like defending their honor, that's whole nother story.
That's why dueling existed.
True. This is just like chaotic. And I love it.
It's fine. It's fine.
I love it. I love it. It's awesome.
All right. So then we cut to the poker room where Eliot and Hardison are sort of talking. Hardison's in a suit. Eliot's in more casual clothes. Well, it's like a country version of dressing up.
Pretty much. He's in
Like
a
the
nice
nice
shirt,
blue jeans
nice blue jeans,
with the nice
kick-ass
polo.
boots. Yeah, kick-ass
Yes,
boots and a nice
kick-ass
shirt.
boots.
Which are cowboy boots that are also steel-toed, by the way, which I noticed. That's the first thing I noticed about him was his boots.
No, you
like,
said cowboy boots and poker.
in Oklahoma.
So if you remember,
oh, that's how he got hurt. Yeah,
that's how he got hurt in an episode coming up, which I'll probably mention this again and keep mentioning it again. But
and remember
during
what
a
I told you?
poker game with Saul Rubinek and Tim Hutton, Christian was wearing his cowboy boots, probably was inebriated,
Mm-hmm.
and then thought it was a good idea to go outside in the dark and toss the football around, and then ate shit.
Yep.
Which is how we got the nickname fucking Oklahoma.
Yep, and I pulled a freaking CK and almost
Yes,
did
you
the same
did.
thing.
Yes, you did. All right. Continuing on.
This is chaos.
So,
this is our lives.
It is. So Eliot and Hodge start talking in the poker room, and there's a blonde female dealer. And Sophie walks in with Foz, introducing him. First, Hardison as Sheikh Khalib from Dubai, and says that her daddy did business with his daddy, and they did in oil, then horses. And Eliot is Bran Mackey, one of the best trainers in town. And Eliot kind of acts so humble, like, oh, Miss Kitty.
Yeah, and I found
That's it.
the picture.
Nice.
And just the look on his face, he's just like so stoic.
Yeah. And Foss asks,
me, I would be smiling like an idiot. Like,
yeah,
legit. I would be grinning like a madman.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, if we were at that poker table, I'd be like trying to kick CK under the table to get him to flinch.
I'd just be smiling the whole time so nobody could read me.
I would have my hand like this.
Yeah, I often have to do that too. But they could tell with the eyes, so that's hard to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyways, Foss takes a seat and asks why Eliot is working for him then. Then in comes freaking Nate, probably drunk, or at least acting drunk. And it's like, well, evening, ladies.
Yep, he's
you
wearing
have
the
to wait for me.
fedora.
Yes.
All black.
Yes.
Which is freaking hilarious.
And Eliot says, because I work for him. He introduces himself as Bob Gibson and asks, like, who's this? Sophie introduces Foss, and Nate declines to shake his hand. Ume has a cigar.
Yeah, when Nate declines to shake his hand, that's a sign of disrespect.
It is. For someone like Foss who deals on handshakes. Yeah.
It's like,
which I get was the point because because Nate's a bastard, he's always playing bastards.
Yep. And I mean, it's like it's a subtle thing. And it's actually it's a psychology tactic. It's to mess with the person that you decline a handshake, or even
you piss them off enough they don't consider
they get
the fact
frustrated,
that you're
and
lying.
they're like trying to figure out if what you're telling them is legit. They're doubting. It's planting a seed of doubt in their mind, which I think is really, really cool.
It is. Oh, I just got another viewer. Hey. Good too. Sorry. Yay, I'm excited.
Hey, being excited is not a bad thing.
All right. So Nate has his cigar in hand. Is like, oh yeah, the one you said will burn down, right? Oh hi Perry. Perry's the one who showed me this software. So thank you, Perry.
Hello. Now we're
Yes,
not
this is
talking to
Alex.
ourselves.
Sorry.
Now we're not talking to ourselves. There's
Yes.
an audience.
Sorry. Yes. All right. So continue on. It's like, oh yeah, the one whose stable burned down, right? You're the guy that his stable burned down. All I know is just got. Wait, no. Crap! I did it wrong.
That's a hard to be cool.
He just like clicks his tongue, but I can't click my tongue. But he like clicks his tongue, making like a death sound. That's how I can describe it.
Yeah, it's like.
And it's like, yeah, well, I know you're new, right, and everything. So if I don't give you a little tip, don't let your stable burn down there, Fossey. Just playing
like
into
another,
the douche.
That's like another little dig to
It
him.
is
Is like Fossey is like, seriously, that's so emasculating.
It is. Yeah, Parker's in the next
again,
room on the computer, which is important. Sorry.
It's just like,
yeah,
really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's a cool tactic,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
It is, and it does make sense for someone like Foss to play that kind of tactic.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So Nate's about to get the game started, and Foss then offers to play with a fresh deck. Nate does allow it, but Parker panics slightly at the realization that not playing with the rigged deck. But because they're the leverage team, they continue on anyways. And we get a nice shot of Eliot's biceps. Because he's got the jacket off. And he has some nice biceps.
I know, it's like, ooh, damn, boy. Seriously, it's like...
Yeah. Yeah. That crap. This.
Yep.
Yep. And you also get some neat card manipulations too. Then they're like playing for a bit. Then Foss he's 40,000 light, and then offers to put his watch into the pot to cover the bet, which goes into sort of Foss's impulsiveness.
Yeah, like no hesitation whatsoever.
Exactly.
Which is kind of frightening.
It is to think that like you could just be that impulsive with money.
Yeah, and then at the same time that could backfire. Like that.
Yeah, which it does. Spoiler alert, it does.
It serves him right.
Yeah. I guess because I've never had the luxury of really being impulsive with my money, I can't imagine like someone else being impulsive with their money.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people do it. I've seen my brother do it, and it's like it backfires and it blows up in your face.
Yeah,
really
I've heard of it happening too. The friend I was talking about who like played in Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, my mom went with them to, I think it was like New York or something, which also has a lot of casinos. And she saw him put 100 in the slot machine. I think it was like 3 pumps of the thing, and it was gone.
Wow.
And she said that was the most sickening thing she's ever seen. It was someone like losing $100 and not blinking
like that. I mean, most of the time the slot machines,
all that stuff's rigged anyways. So.
Any casino is rigged. It's a lose-lose situation for you. Doesn't matter if you put $500 in that machine. You're gonna lose no matter what.
Yeah. Unless
There
the
is a
house lets you win.
yeah, there's a
It's like
slim
that
chance.
Ocean's 11 quote.
Yeah, it's like
Or,
a point, it's like a 0.1% chance that you will win.
yeah.
There's a 99.99% chance that you lose. Now, if you're
Yeah.
playing actual card games, there's a chance that you have like that ups to like a 50% chance
Mm.
of how you can win without cheating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then even with that, I've seen people count cards and get caught doing that.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, because there's
really?
books on how to count cards,
Yeah. My brother works at a
which
casino.
casinos hate.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, my brother works at a casino. He
Mhm.
used to work at a casino, being a security guard, and he
I
actually
didn't
had
know
to
that.
kick somebody out for counting cards
Oh, wow.
and kick out a drunk guy. Yeah.
But Jack counted cards.
Huh,
Hi,
that's surprised.
Michael. Mike Gaffner, the one who gave me my new setup. Thank you for that.
Stuff and things. I'm
Well,
sorry
I
when I
never
hear
said
that.
it
Like,
wasn't illegal. I just said casinos don't like it.
yeah, I
There's a
mean, but
difference.
yeah, it's like it's not illegal, but you can still get in trouble and get caught, and then they'll kick you out if it happens often enough, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let's continue on because we've been on this for a while. So let's continue on. So Foss offers his watch into the pot to cover the bet. Nate's like, "Oh, we play for cat, or we play for cash, or we play for horses. Like, you still got one of those left?" Foss offers up Baltimore and has Sophie witness it by his son and is like, "Thanks." But like when Sophie hands the paper back, he's like, "Thanks, darling." Yeah. Gross. 21 is a great film about counting cards.
I have not heard of that film.
I have not either. That would be
Oh.
something I have to look up once I'm done. Once we're done with this. All right. So Sophie signs the paper. Foss starts getting cocky, revealing he has and like for it's like, see, that's where we do it where I'm from, Hoss. And it's like, you're bluffing.
It's
And
like, how would you know if he's bluffing or not?
it could just be messing with him.
True.
Know. Probably.
9 times out of 10, it's like, oh, we're gonna screw with your mind.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because there's nothing better than that Nathan Ford there's nothing that Nathan Ford likes better than fucking with someone's mind.
True. There's a lot of mind fuckery going on.
I think that's the first time we've heard me curse, Perry.
That's like the third time I've heard you say it. This is literally like the third time I've heard you say any bad words.
Oh, well, you should see me when I'm not on camera. All right. But
behave yourself, woman.
So, but there's a shot of Nate's hand, and it looks like he's losing. When Foss flips his cards around, and he has 4 9s, and Nate kind of goes like, "Damn." Mm. Kind of how I just did there. Perry. She doesn't need to know about that. Leave it alone.
No.
Leave it alone.
I will not. No. Oh, now you're laughing at us? How dare you? He's laughing at us.
We're having a conversation later, Perry.
Don't make me reach through the screen and punch you. I will.
Hey.
I have my eye on you now.
Hey.
My crosshairs, mister.
Both of you behave.
Make me.
Yes, I know, Perry.
So am I. I am laughing at her.
All right. focus. So Foss then is like, "See you." Make like the shapes of his hands, and then Nate fans out the cards, revealing he has 4 jacks. And Foss yells out, "You're a cheating son of a bitch!" And it's like, "I know what you're talking about." Proceeds to show a flashback of them cheating by messing with the hands and passing cards.
Kind of funny. It's like, how would you know if he's done this before or not? He may be that good. You never know.
I'm pretty sure they've all had a stint in a poker table.
True. That would be cool. Watching Parker play poker.
She would just freaking keep stealing cards.
I know. That's why it'd be funny. For me, I've played
was trying to
poker.
teach her magic, and he was like doing the card trick where it's like, "Is this your card?" And it's like counting is the trick.
Yeah,
And then
like,
she reveals she stole the queen. I was like, "Parker, that's not how you do it."
yeah, it's like, well, there's those certain ways that I saw that from the street guy. It was a card trick, and he just shook the cards, and he stopped at like 15 shakes, and it was the like 20th card from the top deck, from the top part of the deck. Flipped it over, and it was my cousin's card that he had. He didn't show the guy, but he showed us, and he knew what the card was. And I was like, how the hell did that happen? And it was hilarious. In a really awesome way.
Yeah. All right. Bye, Barry.
Bye. Thanks for joining in on the shenanigans.
Yes, thanks for joining on their shenanigans. Continuing on. Jesus Christ. All right, continuing on.
Hey, this was
so
your
Nate
idea.
Says, it was kind of my idea. So Nate then says to make sure Jersey Boy gets his horse and offers to have Foss come back to play. Foss says, like, "Well, good luck, because this isn't binding." It's like, what? It's not binding. Like, 4 nines, 4 jacks, 4 nines, 4 jacks, 4 jacks beats 4 nines. And it's like, and then threatens to tell everyone from Vegas to Houston that Alan Foss welches on his bets. I was like, "I'll tell him." And then Foss just kind of like throws his cards and leaves. And it's like, "Pleasure doing business with ya."
He threw basically a little hissy fit.
He threw a pissy fit. This is exactly what he did.
It was funny. I was like, "Oh, you
it was
big
kind
baby
of funny.
Went. Get over it.
Yeah,
It
you got screwed over.
You're gonna lose." Big deal.
Then Eliot and Nate kind of look at each other, and it's like, "Oh, you won. Thank you." And they shake hands. Nate tells them they're done. So then we see Nate walking down the parking lot. It's night. He's walking down the parking lot, and a car starts to pull up beside Nate. And we meet Jim Sterling, played by Mark Shepard.
Oh, he's got a very punchable face.
But Mark Shepard, I've actually met Mark Shepard.
He's a sweetheart in real life.
He is a nice person in real life.
But he
always plays the bastard. He always plays the bastard.
You remember the one time I was like, "Can I hit him?" And he's like,
"Yes."
No. And I was like,
"Yes,
come on, please, can I hit him?" And he's like, "Okay, fine." And then
this is usually how our conversations go, people.
And I was like maniacal laughter. She was like, you were like, "Oh no, this is a bad idea."
I was like, crap.
What have I done?
Mm-hmm. All right, so we meet Jim Sterling, played by Mark Shepard, who pulls up beside me and it's like, "Hello, Nate." And it's like, "Sterling." Sterling's like, "Why are you playing poker with my accent was that?" Like, why are you playing poker with my client? It's like, so Foss is your client. You're investigating the stable fire for IYS. You have my old job. Sterling's like, and your old office. Very roomy. But then Sterling is like,
And the look on his face.
oh, I forgot to mention. Did I forget to mention this? Mark Shepard played Crowley on Supernatural, the King of Hell. So yeah, you'll see there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah, I gotta go do something real quick. Hold on.
Okay, hold on. Well, hold on. Okay, so while we wait for Alex to come back, yeah, as I was kind of saying, there's a lot of supernatural crossover with Leverage. And when I say that, I mean a lot of actors from or on Leverage are also on Supernatural. So like Aldis Hodge was on the season 2 on Supernatural season 2, the 2-part season finale, All Hell Breaks Loose, where he played Jake Teeley, the first person to kill Sam. Mark Shepard played Crowley. Christian Kane played in season 15 episode. I forget what the exact episode was, but it was Last Call. And um, and Jamie Ray Newman, who plays Amy in this episode, was also, as I mentioned before, was the stewardess on or in the episode Phantom Traveler. So yeah, and there's other like Mitch Pilecki. He will play a CEO that we will meet in a later episode. I'm trying to think who else. I think those are all like the big ones. Because Mark Shepard's also in Warehouse 13 with Sal Rubinek, who was Dubenich from the first episode we saw. And Mark Shepard right now is on Doom Patrol, I think is the name of the show. But Mark Shepard's one of those, like, he's been in everything. So, yeah. Okay, you good?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry. All right. All right. So, yeah. Yeah, because Mark Shepard is also on Doctor Who. So, technically, this is a Doctor Who reference. So, because, and also, fun fact when Mark Shepard was on Doctor Who, his father played the older version of him. So, yeah. All right. Continuing on. So, Sterling then is like, allow me to rephrase. Why are you frozen? Why are you frozen for me? Alex? Why are you frozen for me? Let me try that. Did that not work? Dang it, I thought that would work. God dang it. Hold on. Let me. Why are you frozen? Why are you frozen? Darn it. Hang on. You're having technical difficulties. Where's Hardison when you need him? Jesus Christ.
My internet cut out.
Oh. Because I was like, what the hell is going on here? Sorry about that, folks. All right, so.
Hardison, fix the damn internet.
I don't know, just like. I was like, damn it, Hardison.
What, really?
That's what it's like. Okay, let's continue on now that we're back.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
All right.
That's hilarious.
So,
oh, man.
It's all right, so Sterling is then like, allow me to rephrase. Why is an ex-insurance agent played poker with the client with the subject of an open investigation? And it's like, open investigation? Local cops think it's an accident. Sterling says local cops don't have to write a check for $2 million. And it's his job to make sure that doesn't happen. Yep. But then he kind of like stops.
Freaking motive.
And it's like, oh, Nate, that's pathetic. Like, this is one of those little complicated games you like to play. It's like, all right.
It's like,
so you're hustling Foss. Yeah. Like, you're hustling Foss, trying to prove arson or get him on the frog, whatever. As long as the company doesn't have to write a check. You're trying to get your old job back. Then Nate stops and is like, okay, you know what? Like, you have it all figured out. I'll just back off. That like,
was funny. It's
like, little late for that.
It's like, if you have me all figured out, then why are you here?
Yeah.
It doesn't concern you.
Yeah. But Sterling says it's late for that and says he's given up on Foss. And now he's going to go after Willie.
Oh, that.
Mm-hmm. Nate says Willie's an innocent man.
This is where I said, can I hit him yet? And you're like, no, not yet.
Oh, yes. 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 Since Sterling's like, we're insurance men, Nate. We don't care who's guilty or innocent. Just who pays.
Yeah, and then I wrote
Sophie
that down.
Pulls up. Yeah. Sophie pulls up and is like, Sterling. Someone's like, Sophie Devereaux. I haven't seen you since, what was it? That little coup in Sierra Leone? This is getting interesting. Rolls the windows down and drives off. Or windows up, sorry, and drives off.
Yeah, before that little drive off thing, I wrote down innocent or guilty. It just doesn't matter. Just who pays. And I wrote in quotation marks, barf in capital letters. Because that physically made me ill.
True.
It made me want to throw up. Because I was like,
yeah,
that shook me where your heart lies.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like Foss. You're more motivated by money than anything. You don't care how it turns out for your clients. You don't care. You say you do, but your actions say otherwise. And that's not unlike nowadays with modern day lawyers in our society. So that's where it kind of rubs the salt in the wound for me because it's personal and I've seen it. It's like the lawyers nowadays don't give a crap about their clients.
Yeah. And I've had problems with insurance, like all. Because,
me too.
Especially recently, like I've always had issues with insurance. So, like.
Well, I've had problems. I had issues getting on disability. With the government. I had to literally prove that I was disabled to be able to get on disability. It's like, I don't have to prove
up
shit
to a
you.
point, yeah, I guess.
It's like,
but
I don't have to prove shit to you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like I could see it up to a point.
If there's enough of a paper trail to prove what you're saying is to be true,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
leave it the hell alone. Quit poking the bear.
Exactly. Like I said, up to a point. Like,
Yeah.
like if
You have
there's
to
enough
know
of a
that
paper trail to prove
to
it, then
back
like,
up.
that
Yeah,
should
to
be
back up
enough.
what you're saying. Yeah. But with Sterling, it's not enough.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that makes me sad. Is like, you have the paper trail to prove what they're doing and what they've done, but it's not enough for you. You are a greedy bastard, just like the rest of your clients that you work with. And yes, I am cold.
Yes, yeah, I'm like, what is it? No, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. It's hot. So, continuing on. So Nate gets in the car, and so it's like, we need it's like, new plan.
I have that written down in my notes. It's like, there's a long pause. New plan. Like, and I'm like, you think, Nathan?
Yeah, like, think. Freaking evil counterpart just showed up. Yeah, you need a new plan. Then we see
my favorite part.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
It's right here.
Oh yeah, it is coming up here. It is coming up. It's coming up. We're not there just yet, but we're getting there. So we then see the team coming out of, like, it kind of looks like the restaurant part, or like by like the bar area. They head out into the stands.
It's like a little bistro.
Nate's already drinking.
Yeah, of course. Like, that ain't a bad idea.
And Parker asks if it's true that Sterling spent 3 days in the trunk of a car waiting to catch someone. Nate says no, but Sophie says it was 5. Sophie's like, look.
How would she know?
Because it was probably her trunk.
And it was probably her that he was hunting.
That's what happened in Sierra Leone.
Maybe.
I don't know. So it's like,
you might be right on that.
I'm not saying he was better than you were, but it's like, what? I'm sorry?
It's like, bitch, excuse you?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
What did you say? It's like, excuse you? What did you say to me?
Exactly.
The look on in her eyes was hilarious.
Sophie quickly changes the subject and is like, we need to get Willie the horse back so we can leave very, very, very quickly. It's like, it's too late for that. Sterling thinks I'm trying to get my old job back, so he doesn't even care about the claim anymore. He's just going to mess with anything I do. If I keep Baltimore for myself, Sterling's going to try to get Baltimore back from Foss. And if I give Willie the horse, it will becomes a target, and he don't want to, be a target of Sterling.
Vile human being.
Yeah. And Sophie
with a very punchable face.
Yes. Sophie asks why they can't just get away from Sterling, and Zill's like, that's great. So you're saying Willie loses the horse. Sorry, and Foss stays in business. Nice.
And she's being
it's
really
like, no, I know a way to tackle both problems.
It's like, oh boy, here comes another crappy idea from your brain.
Yeah.
That was my thought process when I was watching this. It's like, oh no.
Yeah. Here comes the escalation.
What's the numbskull idea this time?
And it's a good one.
Yeah, and I was like, Nate, that's actually not half bad.
Yeah, but Nate tells Sophie to get Foss here, or to get Foss to the stables, or to the track. Sorry, and tells Hardison and Parker to keep tabs on Sterling and run interference. It tells Eliot to get them a stable. So then we see, we then see Eliot, Amy, and Nate walking through the stables. Eliot tells Nate that Amy got them the horses and they need her help to pull this off. Nate asks if all the stables are his. Amy says they aren't, as traders work with a lot of different owners, so only a few of them will be Nate's. But the stables belong to the trainers, not the owners, so his, meaning Eliot's office, is like just like she points to where it's at. Ellie has like a serious face and is like, "You can't even say my name now." He was like, "No, sorry."
He's like, nope. Mm-mm.
And Nate's looking at Eliot like, "All right, there's something you're not telling me about these two, about you two."
It's like, what you hiding?
Yeah.
Fess up. Tell me now.
Or hash your shit out later.
Yeah, he kind of has that look in his eye, like.
I mean, they kind of do. I mean, they kind of do hash it out later.
Yeah.
Anyways. Nate asks about the logos. Eliot repeats it's his stable. It's like she said, my stable. And they all look identical, so the only way to tell them apart is with logos. And Hardison picked a couple earlier in the morning. Amy then asks, anything else you need to say? You can wrap this up and go back to being a somewhat disappointing memory? Which, burn.
It was like, ow, rude.
Nate and Eliot kind of share a look. Nate probably silently telling Eliot to figure it out. And Eliot tells Amy he thought she said she was fine with this. Oh, Jesus. Eliot tells Amy he thought she said she was fine with this. Amy then says she thought he was coming back in 3 weeks. And it's like, oh boy, this is perfect. And just walks away. Like, great. You're taking your shit out on the con.
Yeah, it's like...
Like he won't eventually take shit out on the con. He's no better. If you want to get down to it. He's no better.
True. It's like, dude, you ain't any better than him, so back off.
Yeah. So we then see Sterling pull up in his fancy electric car into a parking space. Parker and Hardison are in the van across from him. And Parker's asking about Sterling. Hardison spots him. Or Parker asks where Sterling is. Hardison spots him. And Parker and Hardison head to the back and look out the back window. Hardison then points out that the car has electronic locks, throttle, power steering, and keyless entry, and asks Parker what runs all that. Parker has a little smirk on her face as she says, computers. That was adorable. that little smirk she says. Hardison's like, oh yeah.
It was a smirk / smile, and she's looking up at him like, computers? And it was like, for approval. Which I thought was cute.
And Hardison's just flirting. And Hardison starts hacking into Sterling's car. And it's kind of funny because, like, the locks go down, like, the door locks go down, the wipers start going, the alarm starts going up. Sterling has his hands up, like what is happening right now? But Sterling spots the van.
And then he looks over. He pans
and
right.
Starts calling the police.
And he kind of gives the van like a death glare.
He does. Because he knows Hardison and Parker are in there, because then he calls the police, saying that, like, he heard screaming from in the back of the van and blood's all over the doors.
And he does like he fakes an American accent in that moment.
He kind of does a bit, yeah.
Which I didn't catch the first time I watched that, or the third time, or even the fifth time.
You got chips!
I got food. I wanted food.
So, meanwhile, Hardison and Parker are looking at each other like, oh shit. Sterling then, like, ends the call and turns back and starts waving. Then Parker's eyes go by and she gasps and she's like, he's Nate. He's like, Nate.
Evil Nate.
Evil Nate.
And I have that written.
Hardison's like, Flea, now talk later. And they go back up.
Yeah, when after Hardison hacked into his car's on-set computer system, and was messing with him with the wipers and stuff and like the horn and the hazard lights, I was literally laughing so hard I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Because he was like leaning back like this.
Oh, thank you for the like. You just haven't got a like.
Yay!
Thank you. Alright. This scene is supposed to show how Parker wasn't scared of a lot, but she's scared of horses and Sterling. At least according to the top guys. So then we go back to the stables, and Sophie's walking Foss through them, saying she's glad he came on such short notice. Then Nate walks up, and Foss says they need to talk about his horse. And Nate's like, and how nice he looks in his new home. And then Nate looks at Sophie, and he's like, oh, yeah, not as nice as you, darling. Good thing there's not a rule about short skirts and horse stables. Like, yeah, let's go talk. Gross. Well, no, they actually are gonna talk. Anyways, so they head into Eliot's office, and Eliot's kind of like sitting on his desk, and Nate's like, hey, I don't remember your name, but I need your office. And Eliot, he's like rushing Eliot to get out. And like,
Eliot
set up.
But look what
Nate
Eliot's face.
sits down and like puts his feet up. I would put my feet up on my desk, but I'm not, because I don't think I'm like flip that high right now. Anyways.
Yeah, he's just like kind of leans back and does one of the.
He puts his feet up on the desk.
Feet up like on the. It's like. That's like in my mind. I'm thinking that's so unsanitary. It's like what have you?
Well,
been
that and it's a power
in?
move.
Yeah, that too.
What it is,
and it shows that you're not afraid of your opponent. Pretty much.
That's true. Yeah.
Again, it's mind fuckery at its best.
Yeah, it is, and
I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Then Nate basically tells Foss to start talking. And Foss is like, "All right, so my insurance guy is being a real prick, and says until that claim clears, I can't sell that last horse." And it's like, "Of course he did." Foss tries offering $400,000 to buy Baltimore back, but Nate increases the price to $2 million. Foss is like, "What?" Understandably. And Nate says he's got this big deal coming up, and he could use the liquid cash. Foss starts yelling that Nate's ridiculous and a joke. Nate says that's how they play where they come from. And why don't they go talk about how much money Foss is going to make him? And then looks at Sophie and is like, and you, why don't you call me when you're serious? And then leaves with Sophie. And Foss is pissed.
He's
that Sophie's leaving with Nate.
He's literally throwing a tantrum, and I'm like, dude, you're a grown-ass man. Act like this.
Yes.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get over it.
Yeah, I know. But Eliot walks up, he kind of amused and like chuckles a bit. And it's like, I'm sorry, I've seen that look before. It's a Bob Gibson special. Foss like, how do you put up with him? No, it's like he's worse this week because he's got this deal, and I'm sorry you didn't sell your horse back. Foss then asks about his deal with Kitty. What the deal with Kitty is. Now it's like, well, I can help you there. Which, spoiler alert, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Like, a mega amount.
There is. Which is why they technically don't even start dating till the 5th season.
Not officially until then, but
yeah, because they go from because in this one Nate's ready, but Sophie's ready, Nate isn't. 2nd season,
it flips flops again.
Nate's ready, Sophie isn't. 3rd season, they're
both not.
They're both not ready. But then 4th season, they're sleeping together. And then the
kind of
fifth
semi-ready, but
season,
also kind of not.
they
Like,
actually start dating.
yep.
Oh, that's going to be kind of bittersweet with when we get to the fifth season.
I know.
I'm going to hate that episode. We're just going to be crying
Me
the whole
too.
time, and it's going to be a mess.
Yep. When is it not?
All right, we got we got to keep going. All right. Boss then says the industry is changing, and he wasted time with this panty crap, cheap horses, and lover trainers. And reveals he spoke with his hedge fund buddies. They're basically going to create investment portfolios with horses instead of stocks. To modernize the sport so people like Bob Gibson won't know what hit them in New York when it comes to town, and offers to have Eliot join him or get the hell out of his way. Then leaves, leaving his business card. Oh. I just realized that scene's coming up finally. Eliot then joins up with Nate, Sophie, and Amy, saying, "Good news! Not only is Foss out of the horse business, he's bringing in more money and more partners." And it's like, "Got it, working on it." Amy's like, "You're working on it? You said you had a plan." No, it's like, "He's working on it."
Like, how exactly are
sorry.
you working on it?
I don't know. Sorry, I'm already freaking out because I know it's coming up and I'm visualizing it in my head.
I am like blushing so hard because I'm picturing it in my mind.
Eliot, Amy starts to walk away. Oh my god. Sorry. Amy starts to walk away, saying he convinced her dad that things are going to be okay and things are not worse, and she appreciates him trying to help. But if he doesn't know what he's doing, he should just leave, and she knows he's good at that. But before Eliot follows Amy, he looks to Nate. Then Nate gives him a look, then lowers his head and starts following. And then you start hearing the instrumental to Christian Kane's own song, "More Than I Deserve," which is only available on YouTube.
Which is sad.
I don't know whatever happened to it. It's only available on YouTube.
Yeah, it like disappeared.
Mm-hmm. So they round the corner. Well, it's like, you can't let it go, can you? You can't let it be the past. Amy says she was fine until the long lost hero came back into town. Eliot says, your dad called me. Amy says he could have said no. It's like, Eliot asks, like, when did I become the bad guy? Like, I left because you got married. And he was like, oh, in the first 15 times you left? It's like, I came back, and you were the one who moved on. And then they stop in front of Amy, faces him, and it's like, no phone calls, no letters, nothing. Eliot, what kind of a person does that? What reasonable justification could you have for dropping off the planet, huh? And then the music stops, and we get a flashback of Eliot shirtless, which normally would be attractive, but he's basically about being tortured, so that kind of ruins it. But he's basically being carried by two goons asking about a monkey, and I don't know what language it is.
To me, it sounds like kind of like Portuguese a little bit.
Maybe
some sort of like Hispanic language.
Maybe.
But when I saw that flashback, I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, how the hell did he get to be in that situation? Like, what happened? And then in my mind, I'm thinking, freaking Moreau.
Yeah, probably. As the music starts up again after Eliot says he was working, Amy's like, not good enough. But she goes to leave, or it's still the instrumental, I should say. It's still the instrumental. Amy goes to leave. Eliot grabs her, and I don't know if I'm going to call it a fight, because they're not like throwing punches or anything. She's just like trying to like pull back, and he's like trying to stop her.
It's a little bit of a scuffle, I would call it, because she's trying to pull her arms away, and she's leaning back.
But he's like trying to lock her arms.
Yeah, he's trying to keep her, and he pulls her arms down. and holds her to him, and I'm like,
yeah. He's like, he like locks her arms, and he's like, stop, and like, stop! Don't you start your stuff. You know you can't get out of this. Stop. But it's the final stop that does it for me.
And the little smirk he does, he's like, you know, you ain't getting out of this. And I'm like,
just like, stop.
In my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna even try.
Mm.
He's like, you know, he was like, you know, you can't get out of this. And he like pulls her tighter, and I'm like,
stop. But it's like the way he says it, like
a little sideways smirk he does. That was not scripted, I don't think. He was supposed to be like stoic. But he broke character right then and there and was smiling.
So they lock lips for a second. But then she pushes him back. But then she kind of like does one of these deals, like when you're there. It's just like, come here. Shoves him against the stable.
Against the door. He hits the back. He went like this.
But then he lowers a bit to get more in line with her. She like grabs his face and kisses him. Then he lifts her up by the ass, one arm, and grabs like the railing and like swings over as they're kissing.
And pulls himself up one-handed, and I'm like, I was impressed. I was like, damn, you've in the back of my mind, you've done this before, haven't you, bud?
Oh, we have before. But they're also wearing matching bracelets. So like they have similar bracelets on.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the turquoise bracelet. It was really pretty. I was like, ooh, pretty bracelet.
Because at first I was confused because I saw the bracelet. Because I saw like his hand on the on like the beam. And then I saw like her arm, or there was like an arm around his shoulder. And it was Amy's.
Yeah, like right here. Like on the back of his neck.
Yeah.
Holding him.
Yeah. But like she's got her arms around him as they kiss, and his other arm's probably under her ass, and they totally like had sex in the stable.
they probably
rolled in all
literally, and I was like, they probably got hay in all the wrong places.
Oh no, I don't know. No, you ruined that for me. I may have rewatched that scene 5 times. Okay.
Sorry, not sorry.
It's sexy.
And look at this. I'm blushing. I'm red faced.
Thirsty. Shit. Shit.
Don't die. Don't die.
Not
breathe.
Shit. All right. So then we cut to Sophie and Nate in some office. Sophie suggests like a con Nate did in Kazakhstan. And Nate says Sterling knows about that one. Sophie asks Nate if he's sure this isn't about sticking it to his old rival, because it's not worth putting the rest of them at risk. Nate says Sterling's going to do everything in his power to take them down, and he's going to take Willie with him, so he's just trying to come up with some plan that he doesn't see a mile away. Then Parker and Hardison come in, and they're arguing about a zebra. And like a zebra, they bite or whatever, and they never let go. Hardison says about Mr. Ed. Parker's like, yeah, a drunken animal that no one else can hear. That never goes badly. And Hardison says, it didn't. Like, whoever loved Ed. He loved him like a second cousin, twice removed. And of course, light bulb for Nate. I was like, that's it. That's it. So I was like, what? A talking horse? Nate says, the lost heir.
No. And I was like, as soon as I saw that little glint in his eye, I was like, oh no, he came up with an idea. I was like, oh no, this is going to be bad.
Mm-hmm. Sophie then smiles, and Hardison asks, like, what is it? like what it is. Nate goes like he opens his mouth, but then Sophie takes control. Is like a classic European scam. You pose as a long lost descendant of the royal family, and when you pull it off, the payoffs are really good. It's parties, money, and a fabulous Fabergé egg, which Sophie's totally done this scam before.
Yeah, and like I can tell by the little when she said the
The
Fabergé egg,
glint in
the
her eye
little
when she says, and a
the fond
fabulous
smile,
Fabergé egg.
the fond
Yeah.
smile on her face gave it away, and I'm like,
She's done it. She said it
you've
before.
done it before, haven't you, Sophie?
Yeah, she has. Parker asks what it has to do with horses. Nate explains that with horses, it's about bloodlines. Sophie says the last heir of the royal equine family would be worth millions. And Nate says they're going to sell Foss, the greatest horse that ever lived. So then they're back at the stands, and Sophie and Eliot are walking. And Eliot's like, go ahead, I know you're itching to say something. And he has the hoop earrings, the silver hoop earrings.
He's like, you could just tell by her body language she was wanting to ask something.
Yeah, Sophie's like, I like her. Like, Sophie says she likes Amy, and she likes them both, but she doesn't know what comes with chasing the past. And that's like,
heartache.
Yeah, well, Sophie, sweetie, I don't think you and Nick get to serve me that particular meal.
And
Ouch.
when he said that, I was thinking in my mind, he's basically saying, well, you and Nate don't get to tell me
what to do when you two
serving the
ain't dealing with
past, when you
whatever the
guys
hell you
are
got going
an
on.
endless loop. And I have that written down when he mentioned that exact phrasing, and it's like kind of
like chasing the past. That's literally what Nate and Sophie are doing.
Yeah, but the way that he said sweetie, instead of being kind and endearing, it's kind of like a dig to her.
Yeah.
And you can tell by her
I'm trying to
reaction,
think what the word is.
Yeah.
Condescending, maybe?
Yeah, the tone was condescending, and it was like putting a judgment on her. It's like, yeah, well, you and Nate do the same damn thing. That it's different.
So you ain't got room to talk, sweetie.
Yeah, it's like it's different between me and Amy because our path is done. It's a one-time thing. That was it. It was a fling. Big deal, just like this.
Yeah. Which I gotta point this out because I feel like it's something that should have at least been a thing. Nobody mentions the fact that they probably heard Eliot and Amy having sex in the freaking stall. I mean, think about it. He never took his daggum gum out.
Ew.
I mean, I'm serious. I know.
Poor Hardison. He's gonna need to pour bleach in his ears.
He's gonna need, yeah. He's
and
gonna need a mind wipe.
To quote Hardison, y'all nasty.
Y'all nasty. Oh my god. No, but seriously, like, because as far as, I mean, I guess maybe Eliot didn't have his common.
Or
like,
he probably turned down or he could have turned the volume down all the way. But even with the
I feel like they probably should have, like,
he probably took it out. We didn't notice.
I feel like they should have just done something though to signal that like Eliot either like didn't have a common or like had taken his comm out like after the meeting or something. Like as he was walking out, he took it out before he like met with them.
Yeah, it's like, well, there's a little bit of a missing time, so what the heck?
I mean, I guess he could have taken his like probably like as soon as Foss left, and when he went to leave, he probably took his comm out, shoved it in his pocket.
Yeah, or when he went to meet up with, like, to walk outside of the barn, maybe. Like when he was by himself, because for a split second he's by himself.
Yeah, so
before he meets up.
He probably like heard Nate and Sophie approaching.
Yeah.
And took his comm out.
Yeah. But we'll never know. We'll never know.
But I feel like that should have been just specified.
Yeah.
Because nasty. Continuing on.
Gross.
Continuing on. So Nate says they're going to use Baltimore as the lost heir. Harsa says he hacked into the IFHA website, which is the database with all the horses' bloodlines. And now the info is linked to microchips in the horse's neck. And they're going to link Baltimore's chip number to a fake horse with a great bloodline and disguise this white strip with paint. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Eliot says it's not going to work as his lungs are still messed up from the fire. But he could still run. And it's like, yeah, but Foss is going to see how slow he is. And the paint thing, that won't hold up when he gets close enough to scan the chip. Nate says they need to find a horse that runs like a champion. Harrison suggests the horse from the other day is, he says, Kentucky Fried Chicken, which made me want KFC.
And then Eliot's reaction is like, you mean Kentucky Thunder?
Kentucky Thunder. I was like, that's what I said.
And funny thing is when Aldis says that, he puts on a little bit of a drawl.
He does.
Bit. And I'm like, you can pull it off. That's actually damn
I do
good.
know, yeah. Because, he probably picked up on it from freaking Eliot.
Of course.
And just probably being in Kentucky. He probably heard, yeah. And it's like, oh, we steal an actual championship racehorse in order to fake another championship racehorse. Ooh, I like it. And then we see, I think it's like a warm-up area, and Kentucky Thunder is just sort of like trotting around. Sophie approaches Todd, his trainer, as Linda Walters, I think is what her alias was.
Yeah.
And Sophie acts like Sports Illustrated had an interview with them, and she's been calling them all day. Harrison is then seen in an office with Nate, typing on his laptop, saying that a couple years ago, the cell phone companies went digital with their voicemail systems, and it was like someone put a new swing set on his playground. And then back at the racetrack, Harrison fakes a bunch of missed calls, and they see Todd sees them, and then he goes to leave, and Sophie's telling him to stay out like an hour or two. And then Sophie then nods to Eliot, and he heads inside the stable. Then at the racetrack, Sophie, Nate, and Hardison meet with an older Asian man and a younger Asian woman. And Nate takes Hardison to the side and asks if there's any signs of Sterling. Hardison says they're clear. Nate's like, Parker. And she's up in the stand and look at their binoculars, saying they're clear. Sorry, I keep freaking spinning. Nate asks if Hardison had any problems getting him there. We then get a flashback to Hardison at the airport looking up the passenger list on a flight from Air China, and he picks a name and then picks him up from the airport as like a chauffeur. Hardison says the little one has a bladder the size of a peanut, and she had to go 3 times on the way there and once when they got there, which is actually relevant information. Doesn't sound like it, but it is relevant information.
That's actually kind of funny, and I was like, why would you mention that? Like,
yeah. And then we find out why.
Freaking Sterling.
And then Eliot is seen driving like a golf cart, and Foss is in the passenger seat. And Eliot doesn't have his earrings in, but you can see the holes.
Yeah. I mean, but when he's had the earrings in, it's cute. It's cute.
All right. So Eliot asks Foss if he's ever heard of the Beijing Jockey Club. Foss says he has, and he flew out there with a couple buddies a few years back, and he met with the founder. he was trying to start this horse hedge fund, and it was the right idea but wrong investment. Eliot says they imported 600 horses with all of the best bloodlines. Beth says the government cracked down on it a few years later, killing all 600 horses. And the real tragedy was that no one made anything off of the insurance payout. Eliot then rightfully slams on the brakes, saying that they didn't kill 600 horses, they killed 599. And he points to Kentucky Thunder Racing, saying that's the surviving horse.
Yeah, and just the way that he points is just so subtle, and I'm like... Mm-hmm. And the coolest thing is about this episode, when he was talking, like, being part of the con, his southern drawl comes out way more strong than it usually does.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cute, and I'm like...
I don't know if he's just laying it on thicker because it's like he's from that area, or if that's just from like being back in like that area just brought out the accent more.
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I love that you can see in my mirror over here that I'm watching the rodeo.
I didn't even know what it was. I just saw the TV was on.
Yep, I'm watching the rodeo. It's kind of entertaining.
Yeah. All right. And both Eliot and Nate start timers. All right, did it on. And then they stop him, and Eliot shows Foss the time, saying that beats every Derby winner in the last decade. Eliot starts the card up again and continues driving, telling Foss his name's Faye Cly, and he was born September 15th, which Foss realizes is a month before the others were killed. And Eliot says that he points to the man and woman and says they're the original owners, and they're trying to unload him before the government finds him. Foss asks if they're trying to sell it to Gibson. Eliot says for a fraction of what he's worth. Foss says he isn't going to let that happen, so then we see them scanning the chip, and Eliot asks Foss if he gets the internet on his phone, because not every phone back in 2008 had internet on it.
That's actually something we take advantage of now.
Mm-hmm.
But thinking of it back then, I was happy to get freaking Tetris on my phone.
Yeah.
I had the little Motorola flip phone. And I have it somewhere still, and I'm like, my first phone technically was a flip phone, even though I had games on it.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, mine was a track phone.
I've had 3 flip phones in my life. Starting when I was 11.
Mm-hmm. That's actually about what I was. So Foss says he has internet on his phone, because of course he does. And Eliot tells him to pull up the IFHA database, and every thoroughbred is registered through there. Eliot tells Foss to punch in the numbers, punch in the numbers. Foss reads off the info, saying to Fake Quai is like the best of the best. No idea what any of it means, but I'm assuming it's the best of the best. Eliot says if Foss wants to start a franchise, that's the horse he needs. Nate then asks Harrison about Foss's investment group. Harrison says there are 6 investors, and they each matched Foss's $2 million seed money and put Foss in charge. Nate goes on Cobbs, telling Sophie to get in there, and he's got $12 million with their name on it. Foss and Eliot meet with Sophie, saying it's good to see him again. And then she looks at Eliot like, Brad? I was like, Miss Catherine. Like a respectable Southern gentleman.
I thought that was cool too. Is like, he knows how to put on that bravado of being a Southern guy, which is hilarious. So he picked up a thing or two from Eliot, I think.
I think so, yeah. Uh, Christian Kane can be charming as hell.
I know.
I'd
But
also
that
would
makes
be
them,
surprised if like some of Eliot's like confidence like bled into CK.
and vice versa. A little bit
So
of
I had to
both.
put my fan up because it's getting really hot in here. So if you hear it, that's why. I just realized I missed my gag.
What?
I told you about it at the beginning. I was gonna have like this playing on a loop in the background. And then when they're knocking boots in the stall, I was gonna switch it to this. Damn it!
There's always next time because there's always going to be another Smexy scene,
Oh yeah.
right?
Alright. Anyways, sorry. Sophie tells them they need to get the horse back in the stable, and Foss tells they're the Shangs. Shangs? I think is
think
how you
so.
say it.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds about right.
Yeah. So Foss offers about the horse, and whatever Gibson offered, he's going to offer more. Sophie says that Gibson offered them 11 million. So Foss offers 12 million by tomorrow. Then Sophie starts speaking Mandarin, saying Foss welcomes him and he likes the shirt and asks where he bought it. The guy responds back in Mandarin, saying he thought it was a gift.
That was funny.
It kind of was like the mistranslation of the whole thing. Sophie then tells Foss that the horse is his if he has the money by tomorrow. And then Foss's Eliot like clap his hand. And then the woman asks to take a picture. And Sophie tells Foss it's customary to get a picture when transferring property. Foss agrees and they get the picture taken. Then they go to leave, and the woman tells Hardison she's got to go to the bathroom again. And Hardison directs her where it is. We then see the woman meeting with Sterling, who gives him back she gives him the camera, and he pays her off. And he sees in like the video Nate and Sophie doing the deal. We then see Nate alone, drinking, sitting in a chair. And then Sterling walks in, saying he couldn't believe it at first. Nate says, like, Sterling, welcome. Sterling tells Nate he did drink himself out of a job. He lost his house, his wife, plenty of money troubles. Nate tells Sterling to keep talking and he'd get to the point. Sterling tells Nate he's crossed the line and he's a common criminal. Nate's like, ooh, common? Well, that's just hurtful.
That was funny. It's like common. There's nothing common about this crew at all.
No, there isn't.
And that's a good thing.
Sterling then tells Nate he spoke to his client and asks if he knows what he told him. Nate says Sterling didn't tell him anything because if he had proof that Foss started the fire, he'd be gone already. And he didn't think Sterling would risk a $2 million payout just to stick it to him. So he probably did what he always did, and he gave his client enough rope to hang himself. Nate then asks if he's right. Sterling says this time there's enough for two, then leaves. Very tense scene. But there's a deleted scene where Sophie and Hardison are talking with Nate, and Sophie tells Nate to relax. As tomorrow they're going to show an empty horse trailer for $12 million. Then Parker just comes in. It's like, Sterling! And runs into the closet. Then Nate's like, I don't think I've ever seen her that freaked out before. Sophie's like, I don't think she's ever changed her expression before. And Harson's like, I'm just gonna check on her. And goes into the closet, and then Nate's like, told in his head, like, get in the closet. And so Sophie grabs her coat, and they get in the closet. But it's funny because the scene's super tense. It's these two similar men who are smart. Very tense chess match. And then freaking Hardison, Parker, and Sophie are in the goddamn closet. It's just funny to think like that. Alright, so it's morning now, and we see everyone, minus Eliot, walking through the parking lot. Hardison says there's no way to fake the numbers on the chip. Nate says he faked it before, but Hardison says he faked the information on the database. And when Foss scans the chip and it isn't the same one as before, Parker says they're screwed. Hardison agrees and says if they cut the chip out of the horse and insert into another one, but Sophie suggests they deliver Kentucky Thunder. Though Nate says they're not a library and they can't take horses in and out as they like. Then Eliot and Amy come up, and Eliot says that Kentucky Thunder is gone. That's like, what? And Sophie asks if he's racing. Amy says, worse, a stud farm. And they do not like that. So, and Nate says they're not going to get Foss to rate I didn't know if you wanted to interject there.
Basically, what happened was it was like he was deemed not fit to race anymore. Like, he's done his purpose as a racehorse. So he's just going to be a breeding horse from now on. And that is not a good life for a horse like him. Because that horse is powerful, and he's got enough life left in him. Even though his lungs are shot, he's still got enough life to be like an actual riding horse.
Unless that was like the last race of the season or whatever. So they're taking him, or the last race for a while, so they're taking him to the stud farm to give him a bit of a break.
No, when the horse goes to a stud farm, that's basically the end of their racing career. And that's what happened to Mind That Bird at the end of his career. But yeah, it's better than them being killed off. They're getting a chance to create a better bloodline. The fact that I know that kind of makes me sad.
Continuing on. Nate says that they're not going to get Foss to write a $12 million check for an empty horse trailer, and this doesn't work without Kentucky Thunder, so they're going to stall. Eliot says no. It's like, what do you mean no? Eliot's like, Sterling's going to catch on, and Foss is going to get cold feet, man. No, we have a chance. We got to get this horse. And Nate takes Eliot aside. It's like, I'm not going to jeopardize the rest of this team because you have something to prove to your high school sweetheart. And it's like, that's not going to happen. Sophie then walks up saying, Nate, stop proving, and you're not trying to prove something to Sterling. You're not trying to prove something to the world every time we help someone. We're all trying to prove something just by being with you.
Yeah, that was kind of we all have something to prove. We all have a path that we're trying to change. So let him do this, basically, is what she was saying. I thought that was cute.
It was.
And kind of sweet. It was like a motherly protective instinct.
A bit, yeah.
And that gives me that backs up even more of the family dynamic. And remember Dean broke me saying I make family entertainment with a winky face?
Yes, I do remember that. Right. So Nate tells Eliot that if it gets too hot, he's going to pull the plug and both Eliot and Sophie will walk away, and that will be that. And Eliot kind of goes to stand by Amy, Parker, and Hardison. And then Nate steps in front of Sophie. He's like, and you, who you trying to prove something to? Sophie says, myself, you arrogant son of a bitch.
Again, there's that phrase.
Yes. And Nate smiles.
He kind of enjoyed being called that, I think.
He did. But, sir.
Stop it. Get a grip.
Not now.
Later.
You got more important shit to be dealing with.
Save the foreplay for later.
Alright, so then we see that they're at the stud farm. Well, we see Amy in the driver's seat, Eliot in the passenger seat, Hardison and Parker in the back, and they're at the stud farm.
In the back?
Yeah, they're in the back of the truck. Parker asks Hardison if he can hack it. Hardison's like, hack a lock? Nice. You still don't really understand what I do you? Eliot tells Parker she's gonna have to go in through the air duct, drop down, and let them in. Parker's like, she leads up and is like, but the horses will be in there. Amy assures Parker that the horses aren't going to be there. They're not going to be in the back room. It's like, we need you to do this. I need you to do this. Please.
And her reaction to him saying please was adorable. And he's like,
it was.
I've never.
God. It freaking freeze again.
That weird.
Yeah. It froze for me for a second.
Same here.
All right.
It was a little weird.
Yeah, that was a little weird. About to do it again. So then you then see Parker in the air duct. Say looks like Parker's gonna have to crawl through the air duct again. God forbid if anyone else learned how to freaking crawl in their stomach through a tiny space. It's not rocket science, people. So it's like, Parker, we can still hear you. Then she stops. It's like, oh right.
And she froze when when Eliot says, Parker, you know we can still hear you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she just stopped moving. And was on her stomach like this,
yeah, crawling through the vent. Yeah. So then she drops down, landing right beside Kentucky Thunder. And then she pops up and is like, Amy! I found Kentucky Thunder! He's a really big horse. And it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, sometimes they keep them in there just before they get teased. Parker's like, I don't want to be in a store with a horse that's about to be teased. No, it's like, we're running out of time, Parker. And she slowly puts her hand up and then touches its nose and it's fine. So
it's horses.
But now it tells her to hurry up. So she sort of snaps out of it.
That was funny because she was face to face. She was this close. This close to him. And I'm like, oh, that's adorable.
Parker then lets him in, and Hart's like, see? You're not dead. Good. Parker's like, don't be silly. Horses are much less murderous than I originally thought.
They're not as murderous as I originally thought. And I'm like,
And they're all looking at her like, what? So back at the stables, Sophie is guiding Foss through the stables. It was like, when we first met, I told myself, now, Kitty, this is a man that's going to take you places. Then Foss is like, you sure we're going the right way? And Sophie says she's familiar with the stables. They're just taking a shortcut. And Foss says that Sterling's going to meet them there, and a few investors are coming too, and they can't wait to meet Fake Y. Sophie says they're there, and Foss says he isn't familiar with the area. So Sophie says she's going to check out the truck and tells Foss to stay put. Hang on. Technical difficulties. Yeah. Where's? Gotta love deck. Come on. Where are you at? And I. Okay, so, apparently Alex's internet keeps fading in and out. So, that's why she keeps getting kicked. So, yeah. I'm just going to give her a second to get back on. Yeah, so. I I apologize about these technical difficulties. There we go. There we go.
My internet stopped for a minute, which was weird. It's never done that to me before.
All right. Yeah, that's odd.
Dang technical glitches.
Yep. All right. Let's keep going. Sophie then meets Nate in the office, and Nate asks if she got Foss turned around enough. Sophie says she thinks so, as he doesn't really seem familiar with the stables. Nate then goes on comms, asking Foss if Foss is in place, and asks where they're at. Eliot says they're close, any minute now, and they end up stopping because there's an accident and it's blocking the road. Nate tells them the hauler's going to be there in 5 minutes, and if they're not there, Foss is going to open up an empty trailer and there'll be no lost air. Eliot then yells, it's like, I said we'd be there.
And then we get my favorite moment.
Nate's like, Hardison, show me what you're looking at. And Hardison sticks his head out the window, holding up his phone, using the camera to show the accident. And it's like, I'll be damned. We're going to jail. But it's funny, it's Ellie's face during that moment. It's like, he's like you really are ratting me out right now.
Yeah, it's like the older brother is like, you're ratting me out to dad right now, really?
Yeah.
You're gonna do that
That is a bit what it's like.
to the middle child? Like, seriously, you're gonna do that to me, the older sibling? How dare you?
Yeah.
And then there's Parker, the baby of the family. Is like perfect child, can't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Needs to be protected at all costs. I mean, come on, it's fitting.
It is. It is fitting, yeah. Alright, so Amy says that her father lost his job, lost his horses, and now he's gonna have to visit her in jail. Parker's like, well, on the bright side, you'll have all of us to keep you company. It's like, no, it's going to jail. I promise you. We're gonna make it. And then he freaking gets out. Nate says they're not gonna make it, so he's pulling the plug. He tells Eliot to bring the horse back to the stud farm and to meet them at the rendezvous. Then, and Harrison's like, boss, I might have a problem with that. And it's like, why? Then we see Eliot, fucking Oklahoma, bareback, on the horse, riding off beside traffic.
And that was actually kind of cute of him, like, just riding bareback.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, my thighs would be hurting riding bareback.
Oh yeah, we actually kind of talked about this as we were waiting.
Yeah, it's like, that would hurt a lot because there's no padding between you and the horse's back.
Yeah, that's what saddles are for.
Yeah, and you will get what some riders refer to as saddle rash. It's a rug burn on the inside of your thighs. So if you're riding bareback, it sounds painful, and it is. Yeah. It's like getting a sunburn. I actually got a burn on the inside of my thigh once. From yeah, it's painful. It's similar to that.
Okay, moving on. It's like, oh, great job, not getting emotionally attached or doing anything stupid.
Too late. I already did.
Yep. Yeah, because there goes freaking Eliot riding the horse. Sophie then gets a message on her phone, and it's the front gate and the hollers here. And it's like, perfect. Right on time. Because, like, they still need a few minutes. So, sarcasm. Then we see Nate and Sophie walking through the stables. Nate's like, Sterling's going to show up any second. Like, this thing is over, so we're going to do the blow-off. Then in rides Eliot. And Eliot's like, Pony Express is never late, boss. And Nate's like, didn't I tell you I was going to kill you? Eliot then rides the horse to the back. And Nate's like, all right, we're back on. It's just funny, like his so done face during
just
that
like,
whole thing.
I'm done with this kid. I'm just done.
It is, yeah. So Sophie starts walking with Foss and says that Gibson called and he's upset and he really had his eye on the horse, but the best man won. Foss says he has a way of, and then corrects himself to saying things have a way of going his direction, and he must be lucky. Eliot then walks over.
Yeah, he knows how to play the system to get what he wants. Is the more accurate term.
He does. So Eliot then walks over with Kentucky Thunder, saying he has something he might want to take a look at. Voss says he does and has Eliot double check the numbers before the insurance investigator takes a look. Eliot scans the chip, and this is kind of important to take note. The number is 89933. Eliot hands the reader over. Sophie has Foss make the money transfer, and sign all the paperwork. And Eliot puts Kentucky Thunder back in the stall. We then see Eliot, Sophie, Foss, Sterling, the investors, Kentucky Thunder's trainer, all walk into the stable. Sterling says yes. Unfortunate news, and Foss tells Sterling to wait as he's shown the horse. Sterling says the horse in there is not from China and it's not the lost era of Secretariat. And we also see Eliot and Sophie leave as Sterling tells Voss the horse is Kentucky Thunder. And they go in the stall, and Kentucky Thunder's trainer is like, that ain't Kentucky Thunder. Voss says, of course it isn't. It's fake. Why? And then Voss hands over the paperwork he signed to Sterling. Sterling takes his scanner, and the number is 02213. And Voss takes his scanner out, and it also reads 02213. Voss says he just put the horse in there, and like, how did this happen? And like, one of the investors asks what's going on. Voss is like, how am I supposed to know? What horse is this? And then we get, yeah, he's getting upset.
And I loved every minute of it.
Me too.
He's like, ooh, he's getting mad.
He is.
Yay.
So we get a flashback to Sophie's walking with Voss. Parker changed the stable sign from one stable sign from Fake Y to La Devlin Vita. Devlin. Dean Devlin.
I didn't realize that until you said that. I'm like, why does that sound familiar? And I was like, in the back of my mind knew it, but I like completely ignored it.
And the stable
didn't
numbers
register.
Yeah. And for those of you who didn't catch it, Dean Devlin, the godfather of leverage. Dean Devlin. This is it. Yeah. All right. So she changes the one stall number from 12 to 14. And then the other stall, Hardison changes the sign from Nobody Loves Me to Fake Quiet and the number from 14 to 12. So basically, she swapped the two stalls. Sterling then realizes it's Baltimore, and Foss says it's impossible as he lost Baltimore in a poker game.
That's kind of funny. It's like,
It is.
You sure about that? Because
Yeah.
Something's not adding
Like
up here.
mathin' ain't mathin'. Here. Sterling then reads over the paperwork and says it looked like he just bought him back and tried insuring him for $12 million. And in the previous claim, he insured the same horse for $200,000, which is insurance fraud. And he's going to have to deny the claim, and he owes his investors an explanation. Fawcett snatches the paperwork.
Right.
As one of the investors come up and is like, hang on. And he's like shaking as he's like looking at this paperwork. And Foss then like calms down. Is like, we're gonna get the money back. And the investor's like, oh, we will. But like, you're the one on the hook for fraud. You pay the debt. Foss says $10 million is all he has. And the investor settles for that.
It's like, then we'll settle for 10.
Yeah. So then we go back to Willie's office, and Eliot and Amy are sort of in the back. Eliot's sitting in the chair. Amy's sitting on the arm of the chair. Nate's having Willie sign some paperwork, and then he gives Willie a little cash to rebuild the stable. And by little, I mean 2 stacks of cash.
A crap ton.
Yeah. And he tells Willie, yes, 12 million more coming and will be in his bank account later. And gives Willie the paper he had Foss sign. And Willie asks if this is legal. Yet assures him it is, and the fraud invalidates the second sale, so ownership reverted back to Nate, and Nate's given him to Willie. As thanks, Willie says the next horse he gets, he's naming it Mr. Ford. And they all get a chuckle out of that. Nate's like, I'm looking forward to putting a little money on Mr. Ford.
And the smile that Eliot has,
yeah,
is priceless.
It is.
It's a mix of like, oh, that's funny, but also, oh, that's kind of cool, and like pride.
Yeah. Sorry. All right. So then Nate and Willie shake hands and they go to leave, but Elliot's like, can I give you a second? It's like, yep, like, yep, leaving. Because he knows it's probably going to happen. I'm guessing.
Smoochy smooch.
Which isn't entirely wrong.
I mean, come on.
Eliot, yeah.
Christian Kane, come on.
Yeah. So Eliot then stands up and goes in front of Amy. Amy's like, well, so I was wrong. And Eliot's like shocked. It's like, I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
The look on his face, though, was priceless.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard you say that you were wrong before.
And More Than I Deserve starts back up again.
Oh, I love that song.
And I do too. And Eliot asks what exactly she was wrong about. Amy says he's never going to be the type to settle down, but she's glad he found a family. Eliot's like, those guys? Amy's like, I'm sorry it couldn't be me.
And that was kind of sad. It kind of hurt.
It did kind of hurt a bit.
But, I mean, that cements what Christian said about Eliot. He's like, he's a tin man. He's looking for a heart, but it's unattainable for him.
Yeah.
Even if it means falling in love with somebody.
Mm-hmm. We hear CK's lovely voice start singing. And what's cute is he leans in, he cups his hands on her neck. He kisses Amy on the top of the lip. And then he kisses her nose. Like, it's just cute.
I know. It's like, oh, that's adorable.
And then they go to leave. And because the lyrics, you're going to hear me sing. Because I just love this song. And I remembered the lyrics. I could sing the whole song. Because the song starts off, living with me, it ain't easy. Wait, hold on. Let me. Gotta moisten the throat. Okay. Living with me, it ain't easy, but I do it every day. And sometimes, even now, I wanna run away. But there you are, you're trying to please me. And you stand your ground. It's more than I deserve. And that's where it cuts off in the episode.
Yeah, that part where it's like, that's what she's doing. She's standing her ground for what she believes in. And it's like, she can see the good man in Eliot through all the brokenness, even now.
Yeah. And I actually have thoughts on that.
It's kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
And the song is fitting.
I do.
And it is. The second movie or like episode or whatever that has his song, one of his songs in it.
Production, yeah.
Which I thought was really funny.
Because for What More Than I Deserve is essentially about, if you didn't catch that from the first lyrics, is essentially Christian is singing about not being enough for someone, not feeling like he's enough for someone, and like they're too good for him.
Yeah, and that's what he feels like in his life. He's like, yeah, it's basically that song. It's like the character, the Tin Man from Dorothy, Wizard of Oz, come to life as a person. Basically, is what I'm thinking, and that's what it is. It's like he's got a good heart, but falling in love is not an option for him.
Yeah,
and that hurt. That's
it
sad.
Does.
I mean, he falls in love, but he can't stay in love for very long.
Yeah. Well, I do actually have a note at the end about Eliot and relationships, but you'd think that's the last scene, because usually when you hear like that kind of music, that's the end of the episode. But there's one more scene, because we cut to Leverage headquarters. Nate walks in and he heads into like the screening room, and we see Sterling behind him. Nate says it was a nice move with the tourist in the camera. We see Sterling standing in the doorway. Then Nate asks Sterling if he had to hide in Harson's truck all week to pull it off. Sterling said his crack team handed him that one, and it was sloppy giving her bathroom breaks. Which is where the whole bathroom breaks thing is important.
Yeah, and it's like, that's kind of funny. It's like, the fact that he was standing there and I knew who it was just by the shoulders. I'm like, oh, it's freaking Sterling again. I'm like, son of, leave him alone, why don't you?
Yeah. Nate says Bragan and Kentucky Thunder's trainer wrapped things nicely up for them, but it made Sterling look like an idiot, but helped them out. Sterling said the paperwork Foss signed helped save the company a pile of money in the payout, and he knows from personal experience how much they hate writing a check. Which,
and that was
dick
a dig.
move, Sterling.
Yeah, that was a
Dick
dig
move
to Nate, and I'm like, where's the freaking chair? Can I hit him with the chair, please?
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, I was like, can I punch you in the face? Can I slap you in the face with my fist? Because he knows that wound of Nate losing his son is still fresh. But he wants to poke at the injury even more. And that's what that phrasing was. That was him poking his finger at Nate, saying, you know what I'm capable of doing. What this company's capable of doing. And the fact that we're capable of doing bad things and getting away with it, you won't be able to stop us.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there is frightening, because that's actually true. Insurance companies can do this. They can do fraudulent stuff and get away with it. And that's sickening to me.
Mm-hmm. This is interesting what Sterling says next. Because he says, look, it's terrible what happened to your son. No one's denying that. Suffering doesn't automatically make you a hero. Nate says he never claimed to be. Sterling says he just thinks he's above the law.
Yeah, it's like, well, when Nate says, yeah, it's like, I don't claim to be a hero. To me, that makes him a vigilante in a way. He's the anti-hero.
Yeah, he is sort of a vigilante if you think about it. I mean, Robin Hood. Yeah, they're Robin Hood thieves.
Yeah, they're a band of Robin Hoods.
Essentially.
They're a band of misfit Robin Hoods, basically.
It's Robin Hood and the Band of Merry Men.
Yeah, and a little bit of the Lost Boys, because they're all misfits.
Lost Boys, yeah.
But yeah, it's like, they all have one motive. They want to try to forget their past and move on.
Yeah.
But not all the way, because you can never really sever the past of, like, the loss of a child.
Exactly. Yeah. So Nate says, oh, I like to think of this as, I like to think of it as pick up where the law leaves off. Sterling says it's not going to be so this time. And then they get meet in the middle, and it's like, neither will I. And then Sterling leaves. And that is the end of the episode.
The little face-off that they do is kind of interesting. Yeah. I'm like, ooh, something bad's going to happen.
Yeah. So, before I get into my final notes, I have to ask, because we got some of CK's music in this episode, what is your favorite line from one of Christian Kane's songs?
You know what I'm gonna say, don't you? You just have
Pretty sure I do.
My favorite song and favorite line from said song is "The House Rules," and my favorite line is rule number 7.
Rule number 7 says, "Don't touch the women, but they can grab whatever they want to."
Yep, and I would gladly take advantage of that, and then be like, "Hey, rule 7," and just walk off.
Mine, because I kind of love the chat, because when I usually am listening to Christian Kane's music, he I usually will sing along.
Yeah, it's a tie between that one and Dusty Rose. Those are my two.
Dusty Road. Okay.
Both of those.
My personal favorite line is from Christian Kane's song "Whiskey in Mind," and it's the line at the very end. I'll see. Hold on, I gotta what the throat again for this one. Okay. Wait, hold on. I gotta get position right. Okay. Because it's last line of Whiskey. It's the last chorus in Whiskey in Mine, where it goes. Ooh, I start again, dizzy from the liquor on her lips. No lady provers ever got me buzzing like this. But he does it all in one breath, which is the challenge.
That in and of itself is impressive, because that shows you he's been a singer since he was 21 years old.
Yeah.
And he built up that lung strength. I used to be able to do like that long bravado, like stretch out with one breath, but now I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mostly just sing all the time, so to me that's practice.
Yeah.
But another line I like is from, besides House Rules, because you already said that one, is from Rattlesnake's Smile. Particularly, there's two kind of moment where Christian goes, go on, give me a kiss. Yeah, I'm starting to see. And like just that, like the way it kind of like seems like he's getting real close to the mic.
I know,
when
and
he says
you
that,
can hear the gravel a little bit thicker,
and also at the one part where it's like, do I look like something you could put in a fucking cage? That was kind of bad. And it's like those moments because they're so,
it's like just so raw and awesome.
Yeah. Okay, now that that's out of the way, my note on Eliot's relationships. So I want to point out, because this episode is the first time we really get a glimpse into Eliot's romantic history with Amy.
And just his romantic history in general.
Yeah. And also we see, well, in Leverage Redemption, he gets with this U.S. Marshal named Maria Shipp. And
Ship.
I knew it.
What?
No, it fits. So basically, as I was rewatching this episode, it made me think about how their relationships, or how Eliot's relationship with Amy and then Maria, have similar problems but for different reasons.
Yeah, and it's
so let me explain.
It's like it's already there's a rocky foundation to begin with.
A bit, yeah.
Relationships.
But what I was mainly getting at is that both Amy and we'll see Maria when we get to Redemption, is they both see Eliot as this knight in shining armor, or like a hero and a good guy, basically. Though the difference is that Amy sees Eliot as a good guy, or as like the long lost hero, because not only has she known him since they were young, so she saw him when he was still good, but she sees him as like this long lost hero because that's how he's acting in this episode. Like, he shows up, he's wanted to help Amy and her father, and like she views Eliot as the one who left, which she says she was okay with until he came back and started acting like the hero. because Amy is still scorned.
Yeah, he burned her one too many times.
Yeah. Which, again, wasn't really Eliot's fault entirely. Like, he came back every single time. But the problem is Amy was tired of waiting. Is what it comes down to, basically. And to Amy, Eliot had no right acting like the hero because he was the one who left. And he was the one who scorned her. So he had no right to come in and be the hero or the white knight.
Yeah, it's like, again, he's a different kind of knight.
He is.
One of his songs.
Yeah.
That's fitting for him because
it is fitting for him.
He's not the typical white knight.
He doesn't view himself as the white knight.
Guy that deserves love.
He's not the knight in shining armor that will whisk you away on your white horse.
Yeah, it's like
he's the knight that's going to end up leaving you at the end of the night.
Yeah, he's going to be the knight that rides up on a freaking Harley and breaks your heart.
Mm-hmm. But he's willing to let you go along for the ride.
Yep. And
yes, I quoted more of the lyrics.
Yep, I'm listening, and look at the face. The Eliot eyes.
Woman.
I had to. I'm sorry.
Right. But with Maria, continuing on, right off the bat, she views Eliot as this like mystery. But when she sees that he's a good guy, she sort of ignores the mystery.
Yeah, she ignores the brokenness and admires the good parts.
But see, Eliot, he, as like we see when he gets to that point, he isn't in a position where he is ready to open himself up.
He's still very
he still can't see himself as a good guy.
Yeah, he's still very
undeserving and undeserving of happiness. Like that is how he still sees himself, even after 15 years. Or no, not 15 years. Like 9 years. No, 12. 12 years. Whatever. Point is,
a little over
even after all this time. Yeah, around a decade.
Yeah, of just round and round of like girl after girl, the revolving door of like heartache after heartache,
basically. Which
I do thing with Maria.
Yeah, but my theory is that that ended after like season 5, though. But
it burned down with Maria permanently because he wanted to be there with her.
Yeah,
because his love for his found family was stronger.
Well, that because he does eventually tell. Yeah, because he does eventually tell Maria that, like, he is a criminal, and what he does.
Yep.
And but Maria isn't willing to bend her moral code.
Her reaction hurt me because, like, he called her out on it. It's like you don't need to be messing with someone like me.
Yeah, because he even says when she's like, I'm a marshal, and you're a criminal.
Yeah.
And that's like, I guess they're not worth the risk then, huh? Like, he's fully willing to, like, let bygones be bygones. But then she's like, the bitch of it is, I think you are. And I think I'm in love with you. And then Eliot says, and Eliot's like, is like, I haven't been this, I've never been this open, like, with anyone. But then she turns him down.
Yeah, it's like,
because she can't bend her code.
Yeah, he's had rejection after rejection. So I think
and that image has been shattered.
Yeah, after Maria rejected him, he finally just gave up. He's like, it's unattainable for me. And that right there backs up what CK had said. It's like, Eliot's the Tin Man. He's looking for a heart, which is love, but it's unattainable. It's up on that high shelf that he can't get to.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna falling down anytime soon.
Yeah, but that also makes me wonder how they're gonna deal with that though in season 2 of Redemption.
Parker's gonna poke at that wound.
I don't know.
In a way, but with her maturing a little bit, it's gonna there's gonna be that tenderness is there. He's gonna put up those walls again. I have a feeling.
Yeah, those walls will probably be back up.
But not entirely. He's gonna put up a barrier between. It's gonna be a fence basically around his heart for now.
Okay, I feel like it's either going to be he puts the walls up, or it's gonna be acceptance.
Or it could be a little bit of both.
Yeah, I guess it could be a little bit of both, because he would kind of have to accept, because that's sort of Eliot's problem. As like we continue to see throughout the series, is that he doesn't think he can ever be redeemed.
Yeah, and the fact that he's trying it's evident. He's trying, but it's not it's unattainable. He can't wash himself clean of that and start over.
Yeah.
But he could try.
He could try. But the thing is that Eliot doesn't think he has, when like Hardison kind of lays out what redemption means in his lovely speech in the Too Many Rembrandts job in Leverage Redemption, when he says that about redemption, repentance, you have to put in the work and you got to change first, then change. Or you got to change first, put in the work, then you ask for redemption.
Yeah, it's like you have to change here first. You have to change your heart.
Yeah, I have to change
yourself first, and then make the steps to change what you've done.
Yeah.
And I've always try to fix the problem.
And I found it interesting that Hardison pointed out Eliot in that scene, though, because he's like, you see that cowboy back there? For the last 12 years, I have seen him like protect people he won't even know his name and not even get thanked, and still he wakes up in the morning and says, I still got more to do.
Yeah, and it's like that shows you where his heart's at. He's like his redemption is helping people in a way.
It's being of service.
Yeah, it's being a service member, even though he's technically a bad guy now.
Is.
Yeah, it's like that's a different way of seeing things. That's a different viewpoint on the world.
Yeah. I found it interesting that like the first that is sort of like it's sort of repeated history, but for different reasons.
Exactly. Different motives.
Yeah, essentially they both, Amy and Maria, their relationships with Eliot didn't work out because
he wasn't willing to bring down that barrier.
Well, that, and they can't see past him being good or like a hero.
Yeah, when in reality he's not really a hero per se. He's kind of
like he can't view himself that way, but everyone else almost around him does.
Yeah, and until that viewpoint changes, he can't change.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do about that in season 2 of Redemption. So, all right, continuing on because I have a couple other little notes. Parker overcoming her fear of horses in this episode. Good on her. And Mark Shepard as Sterling. Because that man can play a lovable bastard. Though he is a nice guy in real life. I got to meet him at Memento Con last year.
Yeah, he's just a genuinely nice dude overall.
Yes, he was sweet.
I mean, that goes to show you. I mean, like, they put up like this, like, alternative self, and it's kind of funny to see that. But I mean, there's guys like Steve, Christian's buddy, Steve
Steve
Carlson,
Carlson.
who's just a genuinely a nice guy overall.
Yeah,
And then there's guys like Mark who play bad guys who are actually sweethearts in real life.
Yeah.
And that's just priceless.
Mm-hmm.
But that goes to show you how well the writing is.
Yeah. And once again, I gotta point out Dean Devlin's assistance of the mark being brought down by their own sin. In this case, for Foss, it was his greed and his impulse.
Yep. It's kind of funny how that
and satisfying.
Bite you in the butt.
I must say it is very satisfying.
Yep.
Did you have any notes that we didn't get to talk about?
Yeah, I was going through and I was like, the hot cowboy quote.
Got up.
When he was on the horse. And when we first meet Amy, there's a little bit of like that tension. Like I could feel it. I could sense that there was something there. There was a barrier.
Yeah, like
there.
First time she's like, "You called him?" You're like,
yeah, and it's like,
there's
a wound there somewhere.
There's history
like,
there.
Yeah, it's like there's like an emotional wound there, and then we kind of find out what it is. But I will say, this whole the whole episode was so well written, and the camera angles.
Yeah, camera angles
was incredible. That part was incredible.
I love the poker scene, the way it was shot.
Yeah, and I like how it's kind of like did the round, like
roundabout.
It's so cool. But
then I love the
roundabout. Then it zoomed in on CK.
Yeah,
his body language was so funny.
Because he has his arms up like this, which is where you see like his biceps.
And he's like, it's because he's stretching, and then he like leans kind of forward just a little bit, just enough to kind of be like,
oh my god, no.
What do you got?
Yeah.
Wow, this was a long freaking thing.
It was. All right, so because I don't really have any more notes.
Neither do
Other than this was a good episode, and I did got more notes. I like the idea that the first time we see Sterling, how you could tell like there's not a lot of difference between Nate and Sterling.
But at the same time, there is just a little bit. It's subtle, but it's barely there. But
it's enough to kind of make it. We wonder, be like, is Sterling supposed to be Nate when he was an insurance guy?
Yeah, that's probably what it was. But I love, again, that brings up Parker talking about Sterling. He's like Nate. Evil
Nate.
And like how she leans forward, I'm like,
evil Nate. Because essentially Sterling is evil Nate.
I know. And she went from like her normal voice to like a gremlin voice.
And
I want to know how the hell Aldis and CK kept a straight face during that. I was cracking up.
I kind of was too. Though,
I'm like,
once again,
I'm like, Parker, are you? Okay?
I wish there was a gag reel instead of just like the deleted scenes.
Like a full blooper reel of that.
A full blooper reel.
That would be hilarious.
Because there isn't one on the DVD. Which, okay, so that's something I actually want to bring up because I think. So it's kind of interesting because the episode order goes, or it goes Nigerian Job and the Homecoming Job are still episodes 1 and 2 on the DVD.
And then it
But
switches.
episode 3 on the DVD is not the 2-horse job. I don't remember what episode exactly it was, but
It's the one.
I think technically this is supposed to be episode 7 or something. But some reason at the time TNT decided to switch up shooting. Or not shooting, switch up when the episodes aired. So that's why there's kind of some there's a tad bit inconsistency, but it's not really enough to you could watch it either DVD order or the order on Electric Now or Amazon Freebie. But it is kind of interesting that the development's supposed to be a bit different.
Yes, a little bit different, which is kind of weird because on the Amazon thing, when you look it up, it's got it in the order that we're going in, but then on
release order
app, and then on Electric Now, it's how we've been doing it. Because
essentially there's the director order, and then the release order,
and then on because on Electric Now it's the release order, it's episode 6, but with the director order as on the on Amazon Free it listed as number 3, which I think that was the 3rd episode that they actually filmed. I think
I forget the order.
I think it's in
because
film
this season's all shot out of order.
Yeah, this was the 3rd episode that they filmed, because remember episode 2 was the Homecoming Job.
Yeah, episode 2 was the Homecoming Job.
Yeah, and on that one, it's
or they shot the Nigerian Job.
Yeah, the only thing that's the same on this is episode 1 and 2, the Nigerian Job and the Homecoming Job.
Which that makes sense, because you kind of have to have those 2 episodes in that order.
Then they're out of order for a little while.
Yeah, I think what happened was they filmed the Nigerian Job, and then they released it, and then that's when the writer strikes happened.
Oh yeah, I think that's probably
because around this time, and because around this time in 2008 was before that, but in 2008 was the writer's strike.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So I think
that has something to do with it.
It probably does, because they filmed the Nigerian Job, and then they had 2 months off, not knowing if they were going to get picked up for the rest of the season, which is why the Nigerian Job ended the way it did.
As a little cliffhanger.
Because while Dean, you leave it partially open to come back if you can.
Yeah. And that happens several times in other episodes.
They wrap it just enough to where it's a satisfying conclusion. But I remember, because I listened to the audio commentaries, and a bit later, they explain this more in the audio commentaries. So if you can find the transcripts somewhere or have the DVDs, I'd recommend listening to them, because not only are the stories freaking hilarious that they tell, but it's also interesting to hear more about the behind the scenes and how that went.
You remember the little clip of Aldis?
So no, yes. So
you want to tell
it's
them?
Funny, because I had told Alex that because I was watching the audio commentaries, I'm still working on it, but in season 3, the first episode of season 3, the jailbreak job. Aldis Hodge is on the audio commentary, which is the first time one of the actors was on the audio commentary. Or no, I think Beth was in it previously, but this is the first time Aldis was on. And so Aldis. Now, when I say this, I want it to be noted that this is Aldis's words, not mine.
She's quoting him.
I'm quoting him. And Aldis, every time he comes on screen or they go to introduce him for the commentary, he says, sexual chocolate. So when I first heard that come up on the audio commentary, it's like, oh, I got to record this for Alex. So I recorded my TV screen and sent her the clip.
And he sent it to me, and I watched it, I kid you not, like 5 times. And when he said it, I had to turn it all the way up, and I'm like... I was dying. I was, like, literally on the floor laughing so hard. Like, I could not breathe.
Yeah. So we're probably... The point of that, before we got sidetracked, was that for now on, when we do the series, I think we're going to go by release order. Like the order it aired.
Yeah. That makes more sense to me.
Which means that the next episode is the miracle job.
Ooh.
Which is interesting because you learn more about Nate's past, but we also get another interesting Eliot scene. You know which one I'm talking about?
A little bit, but I have to watch the episode again to make sure.
All right. So, yeah, I think
this was so chaotic, which I love.
Yes. Though I must admit, the episode I'm personally excited for is the bank shot job.
Ooh, that one's also a good one.
Because of one of Eliot's lines. I think you know which one I'm talking about. When it goes after the goons.
Oh!
What smells like when it gets screams like a girl.
Right answer.
Right answer.
And then my favorite one from that is after he beats the crap out of all of those guys. He goes up to him and he's like, well, man, we beat the cavalry.
We beat the cavalry. Yes.
That's my favorite line that he says. And the little smirk he did.
Stork job is also going to be funny because...
Yeah. And then there's the like butt kicking in the studio job, which is awesome.
Yes. That will be
incredible.
Because, yeah. Yeah, so this episode, you got more chaotic. You got me singing. You got us over CK.
Yeah, we're just... This is what happens in, like, our daily chats.
It is.
It's hilarious.
It is what happens in our normal chats.
It's more crazy.
It is.
If I'm honest with you, it's about 5 times more crazy than this.
It is.
The reason why it's so much calmer is because I'm tired. I didn't sleep very well last night.
Oh.
Because of the excitement for today.
No. Yeah, I must admit I was like kind of hyper all day because of this, because I was so excited to do it live.
Yeah, and I hope and pray that freaking Dean Devlin doesn't show this to CK. Because he liked the tweet where he said that we were going to go live.
I know, but you don't have to bring that up.
Too late. He might share it with CK. You never know.
Dean Devlin, if you're listening to this, please do not.
Don't do it, please.
None of us want that. Nobody wants that.
It's too embarrassing.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants to have that. in their mind.
No. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. All right, so I think that is gonna. Unless you have anything else, I think that's gonna end it.
Yep.
But,
And
yeah.
I just want to say one quick thing.
All right.
The writing on this was incredible.
Yes, it was. Lighting was good. So shout out to all the departments. Hand clap
Way
for
to go.
y'all.
Virtual high
Hand clap
five.
for y'all.
And a virtual high five. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
There we go.
Yay.
All right. All right. So that is gonna do it for this episode. You can also view the stream on Anchor, which will probably be uploaded once I end the broadcast. But once again, would like to thank our parent company, napco.org, was our electrical consultants, West PA Systems. This is my website if you're curious to know what I get up to. And follow me on my socials, linked on my website. This is my Twitter, MissMovieFan_67, which you can follow me on Twitter to not only know when we'll be streaming next, which will actually be probably next Friday. But you can also see me talk about leverage and all my other shenanigans that I get up to. You can also follow Alex on Instagram at AlexCoopers7241. And you can also follow her on Twitter at AlexCo72565170.
Yeah, and you will see a lot of our back and forth.
Yes, you will see a lot
Twitter.
of our back and forth on Twitter. Because that happened today.
It's so much fun.
It is fun. So, you will actually see us next week, where I believe we are going to be talking Almost Paradise again. Season 1, Episode 2. It's called It's Personal.
That's going to be fun.
It will be fun. So, thank you all so much for watching. You could go ahead and you could go ahead and like the Facebook page at Films and Fandoms with Kaylee. The name of it's up there. And you could also like this page. You can give us a rate on iTunes, and you can leave a review for us. And you could also head to nafco.org to not only donate to the podcast, to support it, and to learn more about our sponsors and to just learn more about NAFCO in general. Well, that was a blast.
That was so much fun.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.